It's the Analyst Desk. Welcome to the show. It's the Analyst Desk. Yeah, in case you didn't know, it's the Analyst Desk. Welcome to the show where every day feels like game day, bro.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Analyst Desk. You know who it is. It's your boy, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. And you might be thinking, Jacob, are you doing this episode by yourself? Of course not. Welcome back to pre-recorded episodes. So we will be doing these recorded episodes, recording them every Sunday night and bringing them to you on Monday morning. Now let's introduce the beautiful, luxurious crew. Of course, we have Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco. Oh, Lane, hugs and kisses all around. Of course, we also have Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo! Hello, everybody.
That was terrifying. Do you know who is
joy?
Do you know who's scared? Rick from Hamilton Sports Central. He's like, how did I get included with all these dingbats?
That's true. Not gonna
and
lie.
Of course, the man left the petting zoo. It's Adam the Goat.
The petting, I don't know. I don't want to leave the petting zoo ever again. Jacob dragged me from the petting zoo.
Actually, in our defense, in our sports management class, one of the ideas was to have a petting zoo at one of the events.
What?
We thought I would bring some children to the event. My idea was to do baseball on the roof. So last night when it gets a home run and goes diving down to the street. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Because usually the home run, the balls go up. I want the balls to go down. Well, lucky man, it didn't come out right.
Okay. Anyways, this is why I need to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to keep these chuckles in check. Except Rick. He's always ready to go.
Don't you mean Dan and Lane? Because Dan and Lane just make the bad comments sometimes.
We're going to recap CFL Week 1. We're going to go over my power rankings, and the rest of the boys can argue with me. Stanley Cup Finals, the state of the series. How's it looking? The Leafs rumor mill. We always got to touch base on that. And we're going to wrap it all up with Madden and college football. But let's dive right in to Week 1 of the Canadian Football League. And I got to say, for a football perspective, all three games, a one score, coming down to the final drive. For the CFL on a pure football perspective, you are happy with it. Now, Lane, you mentioned to me off camera, and I do think it's interesting to have this discussion. You're not the only one who said this either, about attendance. So you're a little concerned with attendance of Week 1, aren't you?
Well, yeah, it's definitely been down, and especially in Ottawa. Holy moly, I think it's over a 20% drop I saw from their home opener attendance from last year. So we can say the fans aren't a little angry to start the year, but I think Stuart Johnson, with the moves he's made, even though it doesn't feel different, but with this DAZN announcement and all the rule changes and things changing, there is definitely a lot of pushback, and I want to see how the numbers on TV are because I hope they're good. But so far, the in-stadium attendance for all three games were down.
Well, Lane, to be fair, Ottawa and Edmonton sucked last year, and Ottawa especially were just awful all season. So, and it was absolutely crappy weather. Like, the weather wasn't great either. So if you want an explanation about why attendance, specifically in that game, attendance would be bad because they suck. And they still, like, I don't know how much better they're going to be this year. But there's that. And then the weather was crappy all day leading up to the game. Like, in those two cases, especially two teams who weren't amazing consistently all year, like, you have to expect nobody would be showing up to a Red Blacks game given that disappointment. If it's because of the rule changes that are coming in a year's time, well, cry me a river. You can whine all you want about changes that are coming in a year's time, but, like, come on, grow up.
And it was also, I don't know if you guys seen on social media, but it was reported. Now I don't know if this is true, and maybe Rick would know better than me, but it was reported through the website that this is the lowest attended Hamilton season opener in franchise history.
So that's not true, Lane. It's only.
That's what they said, according to every attendant.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's, I think, either pre-COVID or post-COVID. It's not the lowest ever in franchise history.
I do also
It's
want to
either
point out
pre-COVID or post-COVID.
I do want to point out too, this is the first Hamilton home opener on a Thursday since pre-pandemic, which that certainly did hurt the numbers. But I'm also, Lane, I'm not going to disagree with you that attendance in the season openers were down a little bit as a whole. Ottawa, really hard to judge because the weather was crappy. And I mean, they still sold over 15,000 tickets and they were calling for severe thunderstorms like a week and a half ahead of that game. But Dan, go ahead. I can see you're an eager beaver.
I have a gas to ask about for the subject.
Ooh, if everyone doesn't know, gas or ass is when we take a hot take and we take a deep dive if we agree or disagree. Yeah. Yes or ass.
No matter who it is or when it starts, the CFL season should open with a rematch of the Grey Cup from the previous year.
I don't hate it.
I actually, guess, I think, and in all honesty, I think this, like, for every sport, why are you not opening the season with a final rematch?
Exactly.
Like hockey,
100%.
basketball. Like, basketball is a weird one because they did it for, like, was it like 3 or 4 straight years where it was the same 2 teams playing. Like, Cleveland and Golden State played every time on Christmas Day. So they wouldn't play to open the season. They would just play on Christmas Day, which was beyond dumb, in my opinion, why you would wait that long to potentially have such a lucrative game when they have been playing for a couple years straight in the NBA Finals. But I think that should be in every sport. Why doesn't the Super Bowl why doesn't the NFL do that? You have like a pretty big matchup, let's say, let's look back. Patriots, Falcons, after the Falcons melted down in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. That matchup next week 1 of the next season, blockbuster rematch right away for revenge on the first week of the season. Exactly. Like, that would be fun. Florida, Edmonton for 2 straight years going game 1 of the season would be awesome. Who wouldn't want to see that? Like, that's money. That is matchups.
The other part of it is it really puts salt in the wound to the losing team because you gotta watch the Grey Cup banner being wise. You gotta watch the Stanley Cup banner, and I think I do get your point, Lane. I was at the Ticast game with you. I thought the attendance was lower than previous season openers. I would guess it was about 18,000 people there.
18 and change.
Which is not terrible. It's better than an Argo game, right? But it's not usually a Ticast game is 20 plus, right? But I don't think the low attendance is because of the rule changes. That's where I disagree with you, Lane. I think it's because, 1, there weren't interesting enough matchups, and 2, the weather was clumping in the beginning of the season in Canada.
Dan, so I'm going to add a point to your points.
Ooh.
And I wouldn't even say it's that. It's some people, and I'm not making excuses for people, but some people don't have the budget to bring a full family of 4.
True.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Unless like your team has something where you can get like cheaper tickets for youth and then like cheaper like food items like Hamilton has.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, and just to answer your question, Jacob, since 2021, it's only happened once.
Yeah, so that's all I mean about the Thursday. And what I did was I did some math earlier, and I want to read over some percentage of attendance. So Hamilton had 77.4 full capacity. Calgary had 50%. Ottawa had 62%. Last year, Saskatchewan versus Ottawa had 77.9% full capacity. Toronto and Montreal had 91.7%, and Calgary had 52.8%. Actually, Calgary's attendance was actually better this year than what it was last year, just to put it into a little bit of a perspective. So the attendance is not as bad as it first looked, but you also I gotta side with Lane to a point and say numbers don't lie. Now, the only good thing will be if fans were worried about the rules and they didn't go, but let's say they watched the game at home or they watched the highlights and saw they missed 3 really entertaining games.
True.
And also, too, right? Like next week, you have Saskatchewan with their opener. You have BC doing whatever I believe they're starting on the road, but like you're getting bigger. Montreal will be around 90% again. Like you're getting some of the bigger drawers and crowds next week. No disrespect to Hamilton, because Hamilton usually does get a good crowd. And I will say the crowd was good in Hamilton.
Oh, it was a good loud crowd.
And I thought Ottawa, considering they were in a tsunami, I thought it was a pretty good crowd.
Tsunami.
Go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say, I just sent you a photo on Facebook.
I love photos.
It will explain the growth between last year and this year.
I want to say, to add to Rick's point, because so many people don't talk about this, but we talk about a lot on this channel about the business of sports, right? And not to get political, but we are the only G7 country in a recession. And when people are in a recession and money is tight, unfortunately, what's the first thing they cut out? Entertainment, right? And at the end of the day, as much as we love it, to a hard-class working family, sports is entertainment.
But you know what? I'm going to go a little bit
disagree with that.
I'm going to go a little bit against you, Dan. And then, sorry, Lane, I'll definitely let you.
No
Jacob disagrees with me too.
But Dan, I disagree with you because if the CFL isn't affordable, then I don't know what you can afford. Like, it is the cheapest premium sports on the market. And don't give me the Toronto Marlies, because that's a junior. That's not the same tier as the Canadian Football League.
I agree.
But go ahead, Lane. What were you thinking?
Well, it's funny Dan brought that up because actually, and this is why I disagree with Dan, because I know what Dan's trying to say. Like, you know, you got to put your money for your bills and your groceries and stuff. And I get that. But I actually think that when people are depressed and sad and feeling like, you know, in the tight world, I actually think they rely on entertainment more because you need something to escape. Sometimes you need that escape from the realism of paying your car bills, of knowing you got to go to work tomorrow and work with Jake that you don't like, or no, you don't like Jake. You. I said Jake, not Jacob.
Like what?
So Dan,
hold on.
Go ahead.
I wasn't done. But I'm just saying. So for people who don't know, I decided last minute. I was driving in the middle of nowhere, and I decided to put $20 aside and paying for it to go to a Luke Combs concert, money I didn't have and money I didn't go to. And I went there to talk to people, and guess what? I ran into someone who spent $15,000 to travel from Australia to Canada to see Luke Combs. I met someone who took a flight from Thunder Bay last minute and paid $9,750 and got a hotel and got tickets front row. So I ran into people that spend $10,000, $15,000. So I disagree with this whole notion because I think people right now, they need an escape from their lives. They want to be entertained. So I 100% disagree with your notion that because the bills are tight, that entertainment, because I think people want to go to entertainment even more now.
Wow. So, Lane, I'm just going to say something. So if you're telling me you would rather go to entertainment than make a car payment and lose your car so that you can't go to work, you have your priorities wrong. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just using the car as an example, but people need to change their priorities.
That's why it'd be like being a driver West Bucket. There's no car payment.
Look, the only thing I will say to that, though, people are looking for an escape. And I mean, look, the CFL is an affordable way to go out and have entertainment. That's kind of the way I look at it more. And I do get what you guys are saying about some people just don't have the money and this and that. But you got to pick and choose, right? I mean, it's interesting. We're certainly, none of us are Dave Ramsey here. We're not going to teach you how to become a millionaire. If we knew, we'd all be one. But you know what?
You got to become broke.
People do. I do agree that people are picking and choosing more on what they're going to spend their hard-earned money on. I just look at it. You can go to one Leaf game or half a season of a CFL, and that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And on a marketing standpoint from the Canadian Football League, maybe this is a way that they can try to market it. Like, literally, if I was that, I'd be showing up and being like, okay, do you want to go to one Leaf game, show a $500 ticket, or do you want to go to the Argos season? That's how I'd be marketing it. And I understand that's MLSC fighting themselves, but that's still not a bad marketing ploy to do it, right? So interesting conversations here. I do want to talk about the games themselves a little bit. I know we've done a lot of live shows on them, so we won't touch base too much on them, as you know, they've already happened. But Montreal did take down the Hamilton Tiger Cats 30-27 in overtime. Davis Alexander throwing for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bo Levi Mitchell, 307 yards, no touchdown, 1 interception. The interception really was a turning point in that game, wasn't it, Dan? I see you got your hand up like a
100%. I wanted to talk about this because you and I disagreed on off camera. But I think that Hamilton-Montreal game was the best game of the week.
So for me, it was when we get more into Winnipeg, Calgary. But I mean, it was a great way to open the season. But I'm still of the opinion that Hamilton lost more than Montreal won in that one.
Oh yeah, no, Hamilton should have won that game. That was not a good ending for Hamilton at all. But like Montreal's, neither team's defense looked particularly great given the scoreline. But like, I don't know, it's just.
The only bad thing that happened was that turnover. Other than that, both quarterbacks had the better stats over the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And Hamilton's defense did not play bad. It's only that one interception. That one interception doesn't happen. We're not talking about Hamilton losing the game.
True.
Probably not, no.
Whereas there's way worse things that happened in both the other games that did not happen in the Hamilton game.
Mm-hmm.
That made the other games worse.
Well,
I don't know. My only thing, though, for Hamilton was I felt their defense was so deflated in the overtime that they kind of, I'll be honest, I thought the defense of Hamilton and OT just curled over and died. And I think if Winton McManus is on the field in that moment, maybe they find a way to get 2 stops and make a tougher field goal. Like those runs that Montreal got were just ridiculous. And I think Hamilton, I think they played really well, but I did not like the way they faced the adversity in the fourth quarter, the turnover and the overtime. Do I think they can easily fix those issues and still win the East? Absolutely. Do I think Montreal is the best team in the East because they won this game? No, I don't, right? Like, I still think that, although it might be weird when we see power rankings I came up with later, but it's always tough to do power rankings in week 1. But, like, I just think for Hamilton, it did show why they went and got Winton McManus in the offseason, because I thought that defense looked like it was lacking leadership. And, Rick, I do agree with you to a point. I thought the defense for, I'd probably say 3.5 quarters played really well. They contained Alexander well. They didn't let him roll out of the pocket too much. But I thought at times in the fourth and in the overtime, they just looked a bit lackluster, and they looked like they were a captainless ship. And that's why you went out and paid Winton McManus to be one of the highest paid linebackers in the league, right? Like, that's why you went out and got him.
So it all depends on what you're talking about, because I can tell you our run defense is better than Calgary and Winnipeg's run defense. Hands down. Because
sure, but go ahead.
Neither our team did not give up the amount of rushing yards. And I don't care if people are going to say, oh, it's because it's Mills and Brady. Your defense should be able to stop them and not allow them to get that many yards.
Yeah. I mean,
so you know what?
In the end, our game was not as bad as people thinks it is.
Well, I'm not saying you guys played bad.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying people out there.
Yeah, I've been seeing comments on social media, like people really slamming Hamilton in the home opener, and I'm with Wick on this one. I thought they played very, very well. There's a key word in sports, and timing is everything, right? And I think that interception was just perfect timing for Montreal. I think it was a huge momentum builder.
No, I agree. I will say this, and Rick, I know you just said people should say that and they shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. I mean, it's very difficult to compare run defense when you're going against very different qualities. Montreal was on their 3rd and 4th string running back. You look at Winnipeg and Calgary and then Ottawa, those teams face the 3 best running backs in the league, and that's not even a debate. So, yeah, I do agree. Hamilton did a really good job containing, although Lawrence got some plays, and I thought in overtime the run defense didn't look good, but overall the run defense looked good in Hamilton. I'm not even saying the defense as a whole looked bad. I'm just saying I thought Hamilton's defense at times looked a little off to me. That's all. I just felt like it looked like they were missing leadership, kind of like the way Dan always says the Leafs are missing leadership, and that's why they don't win in the playoffs. I think that's why Hamilton went out and got Winton McManus, and I think it just showed why they need him on the field. Now, Lane, I know you were very frustrated after that loss. So what's your take now that you've had a little bit more time to breathe? You got to go see Luke, whatever his name was. I'm not a country fan.
Luke Coleman. Like combing your hair. I don't have any hair, but if I had hair, I would comb it like Luke.
Thanks, Dan. What's your thoughts, Mr. Lane?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have had a few days to think about it. I've had a few days to calm down, and I'm still going to do this because this is truly how I feel. For those who don't know, this is a garbage can, and that's where this is going. Don't need that anymore. I'm not doing your Oski Wee Wee chants. I'm not doing your Holy Mackinac sushi dance. I'm sick and tired of this team going, ice in the veins, and then doing the same crap they've done for 27 years, and that's lose. You guys lose. Stop talking about the ice in your veins. Go to the hospital. Get the ice out of the veins. Go jump in a pit of fire. You don't have anything. You lose. You lost the Eastern Conference Finals. You lost your home opener. You guys are losers. Losers.
So I will just put it this way. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because, Lane, I like you as a friend, but people like that are not real Ticats fans.
It's an overreaction.
I've been watching this for 30 years.
Lane, this is sorry. Like, I get you're frustrated, but this is a complete overreaction to one game.
It went in overtime. It was a good game.
Doesn't matter. No. Every game I go to, they lose.
But Lane, it's week 1 of a new season in which you didn't have a fully healthy team.
So they didn't either.
Not there. Lane, but this is an overreaction to one game in which they dominated the first half. They were by far the better team in the first half.
I was even
they had this game in the bag, but Montreal were able to find a way to get the win. But you're overreacting to one game. This is not how Hamilton season's going to go the whole way because this team is too talented for it to go. Like, for them to lose a game when they're up by 2 scores is not going to happen every week. This is a complete you're overreacting to a frustrating week 1 loss. I can understand your frustration. It's an overreaction to one loss in a long season.
Do what I think it is? I think it's not just overreaction to a week 1 loss. I think it's frustration of 27 years. And I totally get that, right? I feel that way as a Maple Leaf fan. You know, I feel like, why do I buy their jerseys? Why do I go over games? Why do I support them? And like, I called it before the season started that the Maple Leafs were going to miss the playoffs. I called it. You all said I was crazy, and I called it. So, Lane, I do get your point to a point, but I think you're overreacting on the Ticats week 1. I think the Ticats look really good. I think it was just a bad interception play.
So I'll go back to what I told you. Sorry, yeah. I'll remind you of what I told you earlier in the Leaf season. I told you if you didn't like what you're seeing, and if you're frustrated and done, stop. If you're frustrated and you're done, don't watch the product anymore. There's no need to watch it. If you're already done and you've already given up on this team, and you're already so frustrated that you don't want to, just don't watch the product. At the end of the day, if you're not going to be here supporting your team, and this is what I said earlier in the Leaf season to everybody, I'm like, stop watching the product then. You don't want to watch the product, don't watch it. You're not going to be there to support your team because it's tough. It's tough when you're losing consistently, but it's not the big of a deal losing in a 3-point game in which your team dominated most of the game. Like, that doesn't happen very often where you completely collapse in the second half while dominating a game. I don't know how many times I've seen a team lose. It's a tough way to lose, but if you're that frustrated, if you're as frustrated as you are, Lane, maybe just don't watch the product if you're going to be this frustrated all the time.
And
That's all
also,
I'm saying.
too,
Like what I said earlier in the league season to everything.
I kind of want to say this too. In the CFL, this happens.
It
This
does,
isn't the NFL
sure.
where you get a 2-score lead and everyone goes home and eats cake. It's a different league. Now, do I agree the way Hamilton lost is frustrating and they have to clean it up? 100%. Do I agree that this season is done if you're a Ticats fan? I really don't. And just what I really want to go over is I'm a big trends guy, right? So I want to go back from 2022 where they went 8-10, lost in the semifinals, and 23, 8-10, lost in these finals. 2024, they missed the playoffs and only went 11-7. And then last year they went 11-7 instead of 7-11 and made it to the Eastern Finals. So as you could see, like overall in a trend, if you go from over the last 3 years, if Hamilton can at least be in that 12-6 to 10-8 standpoint, they're trending in the right direction again. So I understand the frustration. I wouldn't compare this to the Leafs because the Leafs are trending year to year in the wrong direction. I feel the product has gotten worse. Where Hamilton, I think year to year trended in the right direction. So that's all I mean by there, right? But
what's frustrating is I've only been to 2 games in the last 2 years, and they lose the same way. They do the same thing every time, and I didn't even pay for my ticket. I'm still frustrated. I know,
but that's 2 games.
But as a fan, it feels like, why am I wasting? I'm upset because
I'm talking about 2 games you've been to in which they've lost.
I'm going to use
last year's game like Rick.
I'm going to use last year's season as an example. Because this probably has happened at least a good 5-6 times last season. Is that frustrating? Yeah. But I still go to every game. Because it's win or lose, I'm still going to support the team. It's just like Leaf fans. Leaf fans are going to be like, team always lets us down, but we still support them regardless.
I'm just getting frustrated because Jacob's been telling me for 3 years. What's the problem with Hamilton? They have emotional issues. What do we see the whole game?
Lane, I'm gonna throw this example out for you. What would you be like if you're an Elks fan? They went 2 years without winning a home game.
I'd be losing.
They haven't had a winning season in like 4 to 5 years.
I know. Okay, but hold on, Rick. Now this might sound stupid, and I get it. I'm passionate and I'm an idiot. So, but I think I'm a passionate idiot. Okay, people.
He's an honest, passionate idiot.
There you go. But I think it's easier. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I think it's actually easier to accept when you know the team is bad. Like when I knew the Leafs were bad hold on my thinking though. When you know the team sucks, you have no expectations. They don't win. You're like, whatever, we suck anyways. We were told we had the best team, that we got Win and McManus. We have the best receiving corps. We have the best quarterback. Everyone's predicting us to win the Grey Cup, and then they lose the same way they've lost the last year and a half, where they get too cocky, too much of this, too much yapping in the other team's face. They're not focused. Their coach doesn't have them on the right attitude. Like last night, this is going to be a terrible example, but last night I was in junior B lacrosse, and the team was up 12 goals, and instead of getting all cocky and his coach said, boys, let's just go out there and win the game. Why can't Scott Milanovich do that? It's been doing this for 2 years. He can't just go, boys, stop your trash talking, stop mouthing off, stop doing all these like, oh, boo, boo, we got a goose in the face. Just go win the game. You're up by 14 points.
Lane.
Stop with the showboating. Win the damn game. They do that for 2.
I'm sorry, Lane, but I don't think it's easier. I disagree. I don't think it's easier to accept your team being trash when your team is trash. I'm sorry. That's far from the truth, I think, in any sport. Like the soccer club I support, we've been crap for, sorry for my language, that isn't really that bad. But in the last 12 years, we haven't won a league title in 14 years. We've been bad for a while. Compared to our team standards, I think we've been bad for the last couple of years. And it's like, it doesn't get any easier seeing us play as bad as we do. It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get easier when the Leafs are bad. I hate every second of watching when the Leafs are bad. Because it doesn't get any easier. Because it's like we're bad, but it hurts to watch. Like it's not easy to accept when your team is bad to watch your team play bad. And I also just can't agree with that statement.
I also want to point out too, Edmonton, their first year where they really struggled, like out of those last ones, they hadn't won a home game in forever. That season, they had spent so much money on the receiving core and multiple quarterbacks and an entire new secondary. So Edmonton's expectations, they were high. Like they were supposed to be. People were picking Taylor Cornelius. Can't believe this. People were projecting Taylor Cornelius at that point to win the MVP for some strange reason, which I thought was nuts. But I just think I understand you're frustrated about Hamilton, and I do agree with what Dan said. I don't feel this is a one-game frustration. This is a year-over-year frustration, but I feel Hamilton's trending in the right direction, even with what happened in that game. And I mean, maybe if Milanovic, if he doesn't get it done this year, I think he could be on the chopping block. And I'm not saying he should be necessarily after one game, obviously, because I think that's an overreach. But all I'm getting at is I think Hamilton, I really think things will be different once Winston McManus is healthy. And people may say this is just you're being an Argo preacher. One player can't make that big of a difference, but he can because of the pure leadership on the field. He can really make this team turn around. Dan, I'll let you have the floor last about this game, and then I want to move on to Winnipeg Calgary.
Oh, for sure. I just want to add quickly to Lane and Adam's point. I get both your points, but I'm with Lane on this one. I know it sounds crazy, but I remember the Winnipeg Maple Leafs' worst seasons ever. I forget the exact year it was. I want to say it was around 2014, 2015 when we
15-16, I would think. With the
year we got the first overall pick for Captain Underpants. Yeah. Back year, our top line was Dominic Moore and Leo Komoloff. And what I knew that me as a Maple Leaf fan, my team was going to lose every single night. But I loved watching those games because guys like Leo Komoloff and Dominic Moore put in 150% effort. That's when Leo Komoloff was our all-star, representing the Maple Leafs in the NHL All-Star game with 19 goals. Okay? So even if my team is bad, if they work hard and have the right attitude, I actually enjoy it more than a top caliber team losing. And maybe that sounds crazy, but that's all I want.
Look how mad you were last year when you guys thought the Argos going to run it back from the Grey Cup and then only won 3 games.
It was terrible.
They won 5.
Give me
my 2 extra wins.
You know what I mean, though. But it's easier. It's harder to swallow when you think, "Hey, our team just won a championship. We're 100%. Probably going to be good next year." And then you're horrible compared to when you're like, "Well, we were 3-12 last year. We were 3-12 this year. Probably going to be 3-12." And if they actually do better,
I will say this. So, and then
but
I do.
I don't think it's any different. I think it's frustration either way.
And I do want to say, and you know what, to our viewers, if you're, let's say, an Ottawa Redblacks fan or an Edmonton Elks fan, jump in the conversation. You're gonna have a very different perspective. Is no offense. You've been cheering for teams that year over year. Ottawa had that one blimp where they were decent, but it's been terrible. Right, and I mean, you look up poor Ottawa. I mean, it's
Elks
been
had a dynasty back in the day.
And the Elks had a
dynasty. You think I was hurt on Hamilton? Wait till we get to Ottawa.
But I do want to move on to Winnipeg versus Calgary, and this for me was the most entertaining game for me. And I guess I'd say entertaining, not best. Probably best overall football game. Dan and Rick, I'd actually agree with you guys and say it was Montreal Hamilton. But on a pure entertainment level, for me, it was Winnipeg Calgary because this game had everything. It had, you know, Oliveira and Mills going shot for shot in the first half. Then the second half, VA and Claros going drive for drive in the second half. You got some big defensive plays at times. It was just a really fun back and forth game to watch. I thought VA's final drive of the game, I was heartbroken for him that they didn't win with that final drive. So it was pure precision. 108 yards in under 2 minutes. That's insanity. And he just went out there and went, I'm going to win this game. And then Zach Claros said, hold my beer, Junior. I'm going to go out and win this game. And it was, so that's why for me, I was really excited watching this game, even if some of the football was sloppy, like the Zach Claros interception where he decided he would throw a sky pass 3 yards down the field, or VA trying to get 20 yards on the ground and fumbling it. Like there was certainly some more sloppiness in this game, but on a pure excitement point, this game had everything. And I think this game is what the CFL is: wide open, fast pace. Go ahead, Dan.
Call me crazy. Okay,
you're crazy.
But in my opinion, last year in the NFL, the best game of the year was the last game of the season, where it was the second last game, I should say. So it was Aaron Rodgers versus Lamar Jackson. And that game was insane. The quarterback's doing humongous drives, shot for shot, and literally the last reception lost the game because he missed the field goal kick. In my opinion, that was the best game of the NFL. I got the Steelers into the playoffs. We won't talk about that, but still got them there. In my opinion, this Ottawa-Winnipeg game reminded me of that game.
Calgary-Winnipeg. Ottawa's in the next game, bud.
I'm very sorry. Calgary, a long day. Calgary and Winnipeg. It reminded me of that game. It wasn't, I can't say it was the best game of the year because it wasn't a game that decide playoff factors, but the way that VA went 102 yards in under 2 minutes to win the game drive, he still loses? I mean, it was just like that game, Lamar Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers. It was like that game was just as phenomenal as this one.
This game was fun. This game was definitely a very good game. Vernon Adams with an amazing drive, but Winnipeg with just showing Zach Collaros showing his experience, his championship experience, I should say, and ice cold from Castillo to win the game, just as you expect him to be. But like Calgary, I think Calgary, because I said it in our post game about this game, that Dedrick Mills ran the ball right down Winnipeg's mouth all first half. And then Winnipeg switched it up and Calgary just decided, well, we're going to screw this run game that had been working consistently very well and decided to throw it out the window. But like Winnipeg, just as good of a run game, you could say. Like Brady Oliveira had only had a yard more in one less carry. And it's like both of these teams played extremely well outside of a few blimps from the offenses at times, but this was a quality game of football that I didn't expect Winnipeg to look this good right off the bat.
No,
but
shocked.
Winnipeg like Zach Collaros decided to wind back the clock in a pretty vintage performance outside of the interception. But it is exactly what you wanted to see out of Zach Collaros to start the year. The run game was effective in helping him being able to throw the ball and be more comfortable in the pocket for this game. So you know what? Fair play to Zach Collaros for having a pretty vintage Collaros performance.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look, I think Winnipeg, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. I was not expecting Winnipeg to do what they did that game at all. I didn't think the receiving core was going to be that great, and they look better than I expected. Collaros, but I mean, the one interception again, I don't know what he was doing, but like besides of that, Collaros had a really sharp second half. The first half, he looked pretty piss poor, but he was able to find a way to get the job done. Funny enough, I feel similarly to Calgary as what I do to Winnipeg. I feel Calgary should have won this game and they found a way to lose it, similar to what I said about Hamilton. But I personally feel if you're Calgary and Winnipeg, you're both feeling pretty confident after this game. As much as obviously you want to win every game, you're not going to. You saw a lot of things done well, and you got to think for Calgary too, they had all that success without Reggie Bangleton in their lineup, who's their best receiver, right? So I personally thought, again, I think Winnipeg showed that they're better than what most people think they are. And I think Calgary still showed enough that I'm confident that they're going to be a playoff team. But go ahead, Dan.
I just want to add quickly, we way underestimated that defensive line from Winnipeg. Jake Suezna. Those are the two words why Winnipeg won this game. Jake Suezna got a hat trick in sacks, okay? He only had one sack all year last year at Edmonton, and I love Jake Suezna as an Argo. I wish we had him longer in Argo land. I loved him. I loved him before then in Edmonton. And last year, when I only got one sack at Edmonton, I'm like, well, maybe his career is starting to wind down a little bit because I believe he's around 31, right? 31, 32 in age. But holy cow, I was wrong. He's not going to get a hat trick of sacks every game. I know that. But just his speed, his step was way better this year than last year. And wow, that was a smart move from Winnipeg.
The one thing that I will mention, and I'm even going to mention what John Hodge said. Winnipeg's offensive line, especially when you're paying Broxton as much money as you are, their offensive line was not good.
True.
According to John Hodge. So
I would agree to that.
And then obviously the one catch that Tim White dropped, he should have had. So
But I mean, I think though, I kind of want to piggyback off Dan a little bit here and about Serezna. It's not just Serezna. I think Winnipeg, ever since Jackson Jeffcoat retired, Willie Jefferson has missed his running mate. He has his running mate now again.
Right.
And I think that's what. So you even saw all the sack celebrations, like hoo-rah, hoo-rah, ah. If you're watching on Spotify, you just heard me made weird noises. No, it wasn't like Lane's concert where 5 people went into one bathroom stall. But we won't get into that because it's a PG show. But I just
Adam Big Hill too.
Even mentioning it. Why would you even mention it?
Because I can.
That's your first issue. Why would you even mention it and not say anything else?
Try to help Jacob out here.
But no, like I really feel Winnipeg, and I know Adam Big Hill as well, but I felt like Willie Jefferson is only as good as his other edge rusher, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Willie Jefferson's a phenomenal player, but when you have the 2 edge rushers, right, that can attack like that, and you got to think about it too. They did this against VA, who's one of the better mobile quarterbacks in the CFL. 100%. So I think if you're Winnipeg, that defensive line excites you. What's your thoughts, Lane?
Well, I will say one thing. It is good to see Zach Collaros playing good. He had that poor guy last year had like the worst luck ever. Like I wouldn't wish that kind of luck on anyone. He played well, then he got hurt, then he'd come back, then get hurt. Like he just had so many concussions. We didn't even know if we would see Zach Collaros play again, just how bad his year was due to his concussions and health protocols last year. But it's good to, and I know that Jacob in the past has not been the big Zach Collaros fan. He's actually called him out quite a bit, but I will say nice to see him show that he could still, be a top rated quarterback in the CFL. He had a pretty good game, 233 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Didn't lose his team the game, but not the point. But not the point. Yeah, Winnipeg got it done. They weren't the strongest team last year. I think they're going to kind of be in that B tier again, but hey, they got a big win against Calgary, and they proved they're still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I know Dan last year was a big Blue Bombers fan and thinks this team's never out of it till they're out of it because of that championship pedigree. 100%. And I kind of think that they might be another team that's sniffing around and this year come playoff time.
And I think what's so great for Winnipeg is, too, you went 0-3 against Calgary last year. So now that monkey's off the back, right? True. They beat Calgary in a hell of a game, in a real nail-biter that was very, very exciting. But now I want to move on to Edmonton versus Ottawa. And I'm going to start this off with a very big statement that is going to draw a lot of heat, and I don't care. Justin Rankin showed he's not just the best running back in the league, he might be the best player in the league. 196 combined yards. So multiple breakout plays over 60 yards. This guy is an absolute animal. If anyone talked to me after the TSN top 50 list, I was infuriated that Justin Rankin wasn't in the top 5. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. This guy he's got that dog in him. And I understand because of the rain, the game was a type of game for Justin Rankin to excel. But Ottawa knew that. They were getting guys in the backfield by Ottawa's very overpaid offensive line, apparently, because they pay a lot of money and didn't look very good. And Justin Rankin was making people miss left and right, like they were swinging and missing like Vladdy Guerrero Jr. every night. Justin Rankin was unbelievable in that game. But go ahead, Rick.
I will say this. People need to come back to planet Earth because it's only one game. Try to do that against Saskatchewan and BC and Montreal. Then we'll talk.
But Rankin did it against those guys all last year.
But you didn't have 200-yard games, though.
No, I'm not saying he's going to have 200-yard games every game, but like,
that'd be crazy.
Everyone's going on. Brady Oliveira and DJ Mills are the best running backs to ever touch the field. I'm just saying,
okay,
I think you got to put Justin Rankin needs to be in that conversation.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time Justin Rankin won an MOP?
Well, because the MOP's fixed. We all know that. It goes to a quarterback or a Canadian.
I'm just saying.
Brady Oliveira has one.
Sure, Oliveira again, but I guess I'm the type. No offense, I don't look at single awards a couple years ago, right? Justin Rankin's in his like 3rd year, so that's like saying I don't know. Easton Cowan sucks because he's never had a point per game season. It's like, no, he's a rookie. This is only Justin Rankin's 3rd year, only his 2nd year as the full-time running back. Remember, his first year, he had to steal the job from Kevin Brown.
But Jacob, do you understand, though, when you're saying like he's the best running player in the league, you say that, but then you have when you're putting in the discussion around maybe like him being the best running back, well, you got Brady Oliveira, who's won an MOP, and you got Dedrick Mills, who was amazing last year. And it's like you're putting them into a conversation in which you have two guys, one being a guy who just won MOP, 2 years ago, and has been the best running back in the league, has over 1,000 yards in 5 consecutive seasons. It's like you're putting him into a conversation in which you have two very good running backs who have proven how good they are. Rankin's in his 3rd season, and it's like that's putting a lot on a guy based on week 1 performance. But against two guys who have proven, especially Brady Oliveira, who's done this and has been that guy for 5 straight years of just pure dominance.
But I'm not just basing it on week 1. I'm basing it on last year where Justin Rankin led the entire league in all-purpose yards with over 1,700 yards. He had more than Dedrick Mills. He had more than Brady Oliveira. He had more than AJ Ouellette. Plus, he's more durable. He doesn't get injured. He stays healthy all season. I think when you factor in those two things, and you guys can think I'm crazy, and that's totally fine.
I don't think you're crazy. I'm just saying.
We'll see when week 5 or 6 comes up, when Justin Rankin's continuously putting up. I'm going to project that he's going to be putting up consistent 130 to 140 yards per game combined, which I think that's realistic for this guy. I really do feel you're going to be putting this guy on notice. It's like everyone said Cody Fajardo couldn't win a Grey Cup. And what does he do? He goes and wins a Grey Cup. Like I like to cheer for the underdog, and I love this. Justin Rankin came from indoor football.
You know what I'm saying, though, Jacob?
I got a lot of faith in this guy.
But Jacob, do you know what I'm saying, though? You understand what I'm saying? Like the consistency more than just one season, and then this game, this last week, he's been great. But like when you put him into the conversation with maybe Brady Oliveira, who's been consistently amazing over multiple seasons, you get what I'm saying though. Like I'm not trying to tear him down or tear down your conversation, but when you put him in the conversation with a guy who's done it for more than a season and a game, you're putting him into a conversation that is like it could be inherently put one-sided because of how much longer Brady Oliveira has been as good as he has been. That's all I'm saying, is that the consistency is more in favor of Oliveira than it is for Rankin so far in their careers. That's all I'm saying. If he continues to be this good, yeah, he is in that conversation. But you're putting him in a conversation with guys who have done it and been more consistent for longer than he has. Is all I'm saying.
Jacob's going to hate me for this, but this is just what I think, okay? I love Justin.
First of all, Dan doesn't think. Continue.
That's true. I really don't. It just kind of goes as I think, really. I love Justin Rankin. Think about it. A couple years ago, he was playing in shopping malls, indoor football leagues. Now we're debatably talking about him as the best player in the whole CFL. And I just want to say that's why the CFL is such a great league, right? You got guys like Bo Levi Mitchell, future Hall of Famer. You got guys like Trevor Harris, future Hall of Famer. I never thought I would say this. We got guys like Nathan York, who you could easily say is the best player in the league, right? So you get different talents, different age levels, different resumes. Very talented. You can argue it best in the league. But here's the part I think Jacob's going to hate me for this. For Jacob saying Justin Rankin's the best player in the CFL because of one season and one rainy game against Ottawa, where the team's obviously going one more and the rains and fall, it's like saying David Alexander is the best player in the league. We have not seen David Alexander in a full season yet. We've only seen him win a few games here and there. I'm not taking that away from him. He's
Justin Rankin in a full season, you donut.
No. That's not comparable. I'm just saying.
You didn't let Jacob finish before you cut him off.
I do what I want.
Dan was getting to a point, Jacob, and then you cut him angry.
Off. I knew I'd make him angry. I know Justin Rankin's had a full year. I'm not taking that away from him. And I think if Justin Rankin can continue to do this consistently, then yeah, you can easily say he's one of the best players in the league. I would even say at this point, he's probably in the top 10. I'm just not saying he's not the best until he does this more than 1 year, which we haven't seen yet. And for Davis Alexander, it's kind of the same thing. We've seen him win a handful of games in about half a season or so, right? So I think we're kind of splitting hairs there between the two.
But Dan, I'm going to call you out Because going into the playoffs, you ripped me up and down and side to side when I said comparing Dobis to Price and Dryden, it was way too early because he had little experience. And you said that I was crazy. Yeah. So then you can't take this stance on Justin Rankin because Rankin has more of a resume than Jakob Dobis did going into these playoffs. He had more of a resume.
You're true. You're right.
Dan, you just got checkmate.
Yeah,
your argument.
Dan's playing checkers. I'm playing chess. Lane's going to get the chess board.
Hey, you know what? To be fair, I didn't make any of that argument. So my point is very valid because I made no argument of any sort to discredit myself.
I'm in Adam's basement on a cold. I'm starting to turn the heater on. Adam doesn't let me have heat down here, freezing me to death. That's why I have to rant so I get the blood pressure going before I pass out.
So Jacob, I just wanted to mention some points for this game.
Yeah.
So first of all, both teams had over 100 penalties.
Yeah.
Like yards and penalties. Like that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Second of all, Ottawa had 3 big turnovers. Edmonton could not capitalize on them.
Yeah, 10 points off. That's not enough.
Also, until the 3 minutes and 42 seconds exactly, because I wrote it down, of the fourth quarter, just because Austin Mack had 1 touchdown, by my comparison, he had a bad game because he only had 26 receiving yards. So he didn't play a good game. Justin Hardy didn't play a good game, and Eugene Lewis didn't play a good game. That's 3 elite wide receivers that did not show up at all that whole game. Mm-hmm. And also because the top of this panel is all Argo fans, what the heck is with Ryan Dinwiddie going in shotgun at 3 with 3rd and 1?
Because he's a weird guy. He doesn't know anything.
So, like, I don't get this at all. And Lane, you were so right about Ryan Dinwiddie last year.
You got to pass me the 4 on this one.
Go ahead, Lane.
Okay, if you CFL fans think what I saw about Hamilton 10 minutes was bad, I go, buckle up, people, because we're about to go on a bumpy ride. So put the seatbelt on, because if you thought what I said about Hamilton 5 minutes ago was bad, oh boy, just you wait. Now, last year, I told Adam, and well, Adam was here, but I told Dan and Jacob, your coach is in cuckoo land, and he needs to go. And they were all like, oh, Ryan Dinwiddie's won at the Grey Cup. He's a man. I said, this guy needs to go to a mental hospital. He coaches the team to the worst record they've had in years, goes in the media and's like, oh, I don't know why they all suck. Because you refuse to coach them properly. It's just like, oh, these guys suck and they don't listen to me because I tell them what to do, but they're just stupid. No, you're the one who's stupid. You don't know what you're doing. So then you take your big boy pants and think, oh, I'm going to go to Ottawa. I'm going to be the GM. I'm going to be the scout. I'm going to be everything. And you know what? You have a team with Drew Brown on it who can actually, like throw the football, and you put in Jake Mayer, who's a career backup, and you were excused to win the game? How mentally delusional are you? You have Eugene Hardy, who's one of the best receivers in the league. You have Drew Brown, who consistently can throw for 400 yards. He can actually match something that Nathan Walker do. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. And you don't even have him on the roster. And then not only that, you waste $1 million to sign Greg Bell, who actually had a good running back season, and he's not even on the active roster.
Okay, first off, Lane, I can explain that. First off, he wasn't on the active roster because he's injured. He's injured. That's why he wasn't on the active roster. He has an injured neck.
Where did Lane go?
I think he had a glitch of his computer. Oh, he's coming back. So, yes.
I was going to say, I thought I saw that he was hurt.
What is happening?
Sorry.
He was hurt. That's why he wasn't playing.
No, he
wasn't.
I
was going to say, I thought he was hurt.
No, Greg Bell was injured. He was on the 1 week with neck injury.
I was going to say, I thought I saw that he was hurt ahead
of the game. Now, the Drew Brown conversation, that is a huge debate right now. I think this more came down to Drew Brown was 2-7 as a starter, and I'm not going to give away my sources, but I heard he did not come to camp ready to go. Well, Jake Mayer did.
Oh, you can't
so I think this was sending a message. Now, I actually don't think, all things considered, Jake Maier played that poorly considering the weather conditions. You got to remember that when you're looking at all these receiver numbers. I think it more came down to Ryan Dinwiddie. I would more say he had one terrible short yardage play, but do a shotgun. He started a rookie running back when Bell was injured instead of Anababoye, who fumbled the ball in the first quarter. And then Anababoye came in and played great. You should have had Anababoye as the starter the whole time. Number 2, I don't even know why Ottawa even went out and got Greg Bell when you have Anababoye. I think Anababoye is ready to be a feature back, and Ottawa's too stupid to see it. And I think Ottawa looked better than they did last season for sure. I do feel that, and I think Ottawa has some things to look forward to, and I think you can clean that game up a bit. But Ryan Dinwiddie, this is not the NFL. Stop running shotgun at 3rd and 1. Or either shotgun or lining up in the gun. It doesn't work in the Canadian Football League.
I think this guy's just delusional.
It doesn't work.
Jacob, I just
want to finish with this on this one, though, but you just killed Matt Duncan's confidence now because he made one mistake and you pulled him off the game. And that's not a good way to build a young quarterback's confidence at all. Matt Duncan, we watched him in that final game when it was a total disaster, Toronto against Calgary, the final game of the year. But when Matt Duncan played and he came in, he did actually show some promise. I really like this guy. He almost won the bloody Heisman Trophy. You got to give him more than one play, even if it's a mistake. Because I'm telling you, if Nathan Rourke goes out there and makes that one mistake, BC isn't saying, okay, you're not playing anymore. You got to give guys more than one chance to make a play.
Hey, and I said Matt Duncan should have been their starter just to screw around with you guys. And I was, no. And then I get that reaction. So
it's funny,
Jacob.
How many players left Ottawa? How many players left Ottawa because Ryan Dinwiddie came? Look how many stars were like, nah, I'm done. See you later.
It's funny, you did see all the former Argos besides Ivana Baboye pack up and leave. So it is interesting. But I will say this to Ryan Dinwiddie. He better hope he can turn this around quick. Because if Ottawa starts like 0-3 or 0-4, hell's going to break loose in the nation's capital. Because Red Black, our nation is very passionate. And they show that they're pissed off by not going. And that would be really bad for this Ottawa team.
I just wanted to mention a stat line, and then I have a question for you, Lane and Dan, since you guys because Lane brought it up, but you marketing people. So first off, the stat that I found interesting that through 3 games we have 10 rushing touchdowns and 5 passing touchdowns.
Wow.
So Lane, to answer your question earlier about the whole promoting marketing thing. So when you have a team like Edmonton, who has been, I'll be frank, garbage because they're 7-11 last year, 7-11 the year before, and then 4-11, and then obviously Ottawa has been garbage for the last few years. How do you market that to your fans that the last 4 or 5 years your team has been garbage, and then you come out and you play like you did on
fair
Saturday? You can't market that.
No, I was surprised. Honestly, Rick, I said it. I'm like, honestly, I get his coaching pedigree. I was just shocked. Jacob and Dan thought I was crazy when I said Argos should get rid of Ryan Dinwiddie. I said, this guy's literally holding you back. I am so shocked the Red Blacks looked at every person they could hire and be like, yeah, you see the guy who thinks he's delusional and literally thinks he's the king of the world and is wrong half the time. That's the guy we should hire because he said such a bad, I don't know if he's always been like this. I mean, again, I've been watching the CFL as long as Jacob and Dan have, and I know they said in the past he's been a good leader in helping the team. I was just confused because what I seen is a power-hungry guy who thinks he's always right, who thinks he makes no mistakes, who blames his team constantly puts people in the ground, buries his roster constantly, tells fans that his team is useless and they don't care about the fans, and then goes and wants to run a football team. Who wants to play for that guy?
Well, the only thing is, Lane, I wonder if Ryan Dinwiddie, was it because in Toronto, the first 3 years in Toronto, besides that one playoff game that was a total disaster, his first 5 years in Toronto was nothing but success. He turned the team around. He had winning seasons in every year except one. And the 1 year that they were really bad, you were right. He was a whiny little baby. And I wonder in
But he's doing it in
Ottawa, which, by
Ottawa.
the way, the Ottawa Redblacks get more media attention than the Toronto Argos do. How is he going to handle the extra media attention when if they have another game where Jake Mare just plays okay? I don't think Jake Mare was trash, but I don't think he was phenomenal. This is tough. Do you bench your captain? That's right, folks. They named Jake Mare the captain of this team. Like Ryan Dimwitty really. I don't know if Jake Mare brings them steak dinners every day. And by the way, and I say this, I actually like Jake Mare. I think he's a good guy, and I think he does have potential. And if this works out, it's going to look great. But it's a humongous gamble for Ottawa when you have a guy like Drew Brown who, you know what, say what you want, and he's been up and down, but he is the only quarterback in the last 5 years to get you to the playoffs. Right? So it's one of those things, but I do want to quickly jump back to what Rick was saying earlier on the penalties. Both teams have to be better in that front. A lot of time count violations, which I kind of thought was to be expected. The new time clock,
pass interference,
and a lot of pass interference. Some of them I thought were ticky-tacky personally.
And then I think I counted 3 face masks between the two teams.
Yeah,
the one thing that I'm very upset for, Jacob, is because the bench changes, we never got to see the sequel.
Oh.
Remember, Ryan Dimwitty got into a pretty heated screaming match with the Elks last year.
I forgot about that.
And he was ready to scrap them. Drive. Oh, no, he did scrap them. Sorry. Yeah.
Now, I wonder this too. And I'm just going to say this too. If Ryan Dimwitty has lost confidence in Dungan, Jared Dagey was cut by the BC Lions. Ryan Dimwitty and Dagey have a good history. Do we see Jared Dagey being picked up by Ottawa if, let's say, you have another game where Dungan can't do short yardage?
First off, I wouldn't even go after Dagey. I would be calling up a different quarterback by the name of Shea Patterson.
Ooh, I'm just saying because of Ryan Dimwitty's past with Dagey, he seemed to really like him. No, I agree with you, Rick. If it was me, I'd be calling Shea Patterson. But I'm not Ryan Dimwitty.
I just want to answer Rick's question because I think it's a phenomenal question. And I did take Seneca Sports Marketing at Seneca there, so we did talk about this. And we talked about how do you market a losing team? Because it's I got to be honest, it's very difficult. And we talked about this in the class, where when you are marketing and reaching a target audience and thinking all these things, we talk about it's like you can market anything except what's on the field. Because when it comes to the players on the field, the results on the field, or the ice, or the court, whatever sport it is, those are the two things you cannot control. You cannot control if Chad Kelly's going to break his leg in the third quarter of the playoffs. You can't control John Tavares gets a concussion against Montreal in the first game of the season. Right? So you can't control that. And you can't control, as marketers, you can't control if the team's going to be good or bad. So you look at teams like, sorry to call you out, but MLSLE, they market because of they are who they are, right? We're the Toronto Maple Leafs, we're the Toronto Argos, come show up. And that's great. There's always power to them. But I look at teams like the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Ottawa Redblacks, and I give them a lot of credit because they all talk about fan experience. The same with the Blue Jays. We just had a Blue Jay game on Sundays, we had a Junior Jays game, right? Jacob's favorite, haha. We got all the activity set up for the kids, so you get people into baseball young. You look at Hamilton, for example. You go to a Hamilton Tiger Cats game, it's a whole vibe, even before the game starts. It's really happening down there. You got little activations going on in front of the stadium before for kids and families to get involved in. And same with Ottawa. There's a lot of where the arena is located in Ottawa. You got shopping, you got a movie theater, you got great restaurants, a great dining. They have activities going on for families before. And Hamilton and Ottawa are great at it. They let the families come on the field after the game. So they got stuff going on for the fans before and after the game. And that's how you really market a sports team, in my opinion, without the winning pedigree, is that you talk about the experience besides of winning or losing.
No, Danny, That's actually very fair, Dan. And I want to piggyback off that to look at what Vancouver does, right, in their marketing.
Prime
And
example.
the BC Lions don't say you're coming here for a football game. You're coming here for a day out. And I think that's the big difference. And Ottawa and Hamilton both do this as well. Versus Toronto, they just say you like football, which cheap. We'll give you a $3 wiener. Come to the game. And it just, and mind you, for true diehard football fans, they go. But let's be honest, I think there's a reason why Hamilton and Ottawa and Vancouver and all these other teams like Saskatchewan and Winnipeg and Montreal, basically every other team in the league, maybe, they're getting more attendance because they're doing more. Look at Hamilton again for as another example. They're doing like the VIP where you go meet and greet with more players. Toronto, season tickets, you don't even get a proper season ticket holder gift, right? So it's one of those
to be honest, Jacob, we don't even get season ticket holder gifts either.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, Rick.
I mean, you guys,
the gift of my
you guys got that You guys got that championship football.
I want that ball.
You mean this one?
Yes, I want that ball.
I mean, Dan,
Dan, so
calm down,
Jacob, just to mention the whole marketing thing. Yeah, do you remember when Edmonton went on that bad losing streak at home? I forget what section their stadium. They're basically giving tickets to those fans in that section until they won. So they were losing money that year.
You know what, though? And Rick, I'm actually going to say this. You're not losing money by giving tickets away that no one was buying. You're actually creating more revenue by giving those tickets away, because now those people, let's say you get the free ticket. Now you're totally fine spending $30 on beers or $20 on a chicken sandwich, which is ridiculous because you got the ticket for free. I think this is something that more teams like the Toronto Argos, they should be doing. Go to a high school and give out a couple thousand tickets. You got the seats. And if you put them in the 200s towards the end zone in the crappier seats, it doesn't matter. You're getting them there. And it's a way to just boost the environment. And that's what the Blue Jays did for years. Because remember, the Blue Jays attendance used to be god awful. And they started giving tickets away. And once you build the culture of people going, then they want to go more often. But go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was going to say, gotta give a huge shout out to Edmonton, as I believe Edmonton was when they were giving away those tickets. They were donating them to like big brothers and big sisters and hospitals and different things like that. That's a phenomenal thing to do. The new family owner of the Edmonton, unfortunately, the owner passed away, but the family is continuing to build something in the city of Edmonton. So I really hope it builds something great. I just want to say it's also Buffalo is a prime example of this. The Buffalo Bills, we remember them in Josh Allen days, but Jacob and I will know before the Josh Allen days, Buffalo Bills were very bad for a long time. And they still sold a lot of tickets, regardless how bad they are, and same with the Buffalo Sabres. I guess this year the Sabres were selling out again, but even when the Sabres were not selling out, they were still getting very good attendance in Buffalo, of all places. The city has a population of under 300,000 people. So you can market a sports team about having a good record.
Well, I think it's just the key is it more has to do with marketing the overall experience, not just going to the game, right?
100%.
And this was, by the way, this conversation was not a planned conversation we had, but I mean, it's a phenomenal conversation.
I love the question, Rick.
Yeah, Rick, thank you for bringing it into the convo. But we got to get into the power rankings. Now, these power rankings are done by me, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst.
Because Jacob's a dictator on these, and he won't let
and then what I like to do,
input.
I like it where everyone gets to tell me that I'm stupid and tell me that
they're
stupid.
That. Okay, I'm down.
You're stupid.
Here are my
I thought you said that you lost this.
So I have the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 1, the BC Lions at 2, Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 3, Montreal Alouettes 4, Edmonton Elks 5, Hamilton Tiger Cats 6, Toronto 7, got that 6-7 in there, Calgary Stampeders at 8, and Ottawa Red Blacks at 9. Now I want to state there's a big gap for me between 8th and 9th.
Okay. My first question is,
I got a lot of questions.
Is the whole Edmonton Winnipeg thing based off of their wins?
Yes. week one is always tough to do. This list, I think, will look very different by week 3 or 4 when we've had a sample size of everyone, right? I mean, because realistically, you always want to put winning teams towards the top, but I can't not put BC in a top 3.
So you really have Calgary that low off of a 3-point loss to Winnipeg?
I think it's just the way they lost it, the way the defense, which that team was built around their defense last year. And between all the multiple rouges you give up, the missed field goal, and the defense just realizing you can't give up that much field because Clairol still had a minute and only had to go 30 yards.
But what about Hamilton? Hamilton's loss was probably even worse than Calgary's. Given their collapse, when you think about it that way.
But I feel Hamilton played a better overall game than Calgary did. Like I thought Hamilton played a really good game. They just came up short. I thought Calgary, there was more to be desired. That's my take on it. But you could easily flip Hamilton and Calgary. You could put Toronto down at 8th. You could put Edmonton down at 8th, even though they won, because there's a lot of things you don't like. Week one, it's so tough to do.
So what I'm actually go ahead, Dan.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Crazy.
Okay, call me crazy, but I think you really underestimated Montreal in this list because Montreal is one of the few teams that won. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm surprised they're down.
Yeah, but
Saskatchewan, I guess they won. I get that. BC, they didn't even make it to the Grey Cup, so why are they number 2?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Dan, and people are going to hate me for this, Alouettes defense played worse than the Bombers defense did.
True, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The reason why the Alouettes won is because of Hamilton's mistakes, right? I thought the Blue Bombers actually went out there and executed and won their game.
What I'm actually curious for is where Jacob's going to have Toronto. If Toronto beats Montreal, is Montreal going to be down in 7th?
Yeah.
There's a good chance. Like we don't. Week one is I would actually. So this might sound weird. I spent a good 25 minutes trying to figure out my power rankings for week one.
You didn't use ChatGPT?
No, I did not.
Use ChatGPT.
What's going to be interesting this upcoming week is BC or Saskatchewan's going to be an 0-1 team,
which is crazy.
So Jacob, I'm curious. I know that you had these discussion topics, but I'm just going to start with one of them. What's with your Hamilton versus Toronto debate?
My Hamilton versus Toronto debate is more like which one of these teams do we see actually being towards flipping each other up? Because I feel Toronto Hamilton is kind of like Saskatchewan Winnipeg. They will be compared to each other every season, no matter what.
Which one got each other up?
So it's more the debate on like which team, after seeing what Hamilton did this week and projections of Toronto, do you see one team that's going to start going ahead of the other one?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And I feel like the debate's a little bit easier since they're playing the same opponent. Like back-to-back week,
right?
Each team is playing the same opponent right after each other. So it's like I could see what Jacob's saying with like you could compare it because based on how each team played against Montreal, it's a common opponent and it's easy to debate that. But I guess it will depend on how the Ticats play next week. But
what do you think, Lane?
An easy comparison, I guess.
Well, I just had one question, and maybe I think I know why you're going to say it, but just my question. Why is Edmonton below Montreal? Is it because you just think that Ottawa was so bad compared to Calgary? Because if anything, I didn't watch the game, but let's be honest. Montreal didn't actually play that good. Hamilton just decided to get over cocky and basically give the game, where I feel like Edmonton actually played pretty consistently well. I think actually Edmonton should be over Montreal.
It's partially quality of opponent. And the other part is Edmonton just took way too many penalties for me to justify them as a top 4 team. You cannot be a top 4 team and take 3 face mask penalties. And it's not a consistent recipe for success to have your running back at 196 of your yards.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I projected Edmonton is going to be a playoff team. They're going to cross over in the East, which is why they're in my top 5. But for me, Montreal, I think they were able to do so much with so much adversity from injuries in week 1 that I have to tip my hat to them. So again, it'll be more interesting. Edmonton has the bye this week, and I believe next week they actually play a really tough opponent. So it'll be interesting to see for Edmonton. Yeah, Edmonton plays Montreal in week 3. So there you go. In week 3, maybe we're going to get a really good comparison of Edmonton versus Montreal in week 3.
Jacob, question
Daniel.
for you. Yeah, I only put in a lot of time in these power rankings. Wow. I only put a lot of time in power rankings. Wow. How more complicated is it going to be once there's a 10th team in the CFL?
In some ways, it might be easier because I feel like every team's going to play week 1.
Ooh.
That's my take. I think the week 1 power rankings are the hardest to do because you're comparing teams that haven't played yet. And so for all I know, BC is going to be absolutely terrible this week. Coming up. I have no idea. So I have to base it off what I saw in training camp, what I saw in the preseason, championship pedigree, and what I saw in week 1. It's the early couple week power rankings are so difficult.
Yeah.
I thought Dan was going to go on a rant because the last couple of years, Toronto's been on a bye the first week.
Well, I mean, I've said it for a while and people laugh at me. I'm about conspiracy theories, and I have a conspiracy theory that the CFL hates Toronto. I really do, because why else would you give them a bye on the first week for the past, 3, 4, 5 seasons? I see people saying, like, oh, it's dumb of Toronto picking first week as their bye. They can't pick to use a bye, then how else are going to do it?
But Dan, it could just be shits and giggles, you know? You never really know what you're...
No, but you look at the whole Kelly situation and how
Dan, it could just be for the laughs.
Okay, Dan, let's not bring up the Cowie situation because that's a whole other discussion.
Could just be for the laughs.
No, but I'm curious.
Toronto never gets a week one game, especially at home. The attendance numbers are bad. Week 1, you want to show off the league. You don't want to show it off to a stadium that's half full. And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say that. It's why, personally, I didn't particularly like the setup for week 1 this week. I'm like, wow, Edmonton, Ottawa to close it out. What exciting, the battle of the 2 worst teams in the CFL. Like, in my opinion, you need it to be your best teams or your best matchups in theory are going head to head. Yeah, I would love to see Toronto Hamilton play week 1 in Hamilton. It's just look how excited Rick is already. You want to get 20,000 plus people in the donut box week 1. That's how you do it, right? Yeah. But Toronto shouldn't be getting a home game week 1 because they don't do enough to market the Toronto Argos. Why are you going to reward an ownership group that doesn't put in the work? I think Amar Doman should personally get it every year. He puts on a party. Yeah. The CFL should be kicking off, and if it's not the Grey Cup repeat, it should be BC with the biggest party in Canada to kick off the season.
Right.
But those are my power rankings. That's what I'm sticking with. And let me know in the comment section when this is up what you guys think about it. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you agree with our other panelists who had some very good critiques about the power rankings? And like I said, these power rankings.
My number one complaint is you're a dictator about these, and you don't let anybody else have any input.
Can't we can say that on the air?
And I want that on the record. That is my complaint.
I will say one thing about Thursday's game, and I blame Adam for this.
What did I do?
You did not record my moment in time.
Oh my God, I'm so mad about that, Rick, as well. Don't worry. I am so mad at myself because that was awesome. And I'm so pissed
off. For those
that
don't know, Kate Burness was walking by and I yelled, Kate! And Adam's reaction was freaking priceless when she looked around and was like, yeah.
I was like, this is awesome.
I will say this to you, Adam. You made the broadcast when you were walking onto the field. You could see you looking back and looking at all the cameras. You were like,
yeah, I did see that.
So there you go. But just as a recap for the power rankings before we move on, we have the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 1, BC Lions. Actually, while I read these off, I may as well throw the graphic back up one more time for our viewers who are watching. We have the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 1, BC Lions 2, Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 3, Montreal Alouettes 4, Edmonton Elks 5, the Hamilton Tiger Cats 6th, Toronto Argonauts 7, Calgary Stampeders 8th, Ottawa Red Blacks 9th. I bet the most flack I get from the CFL community will be the Calgary Stampeders at 8, and I'm ready to.
Hi, Cat fans.
debate it.
Just because you're an Argo fan.
At least I didn't put them behind the Argos. I could not do that. But
I want to say too, I had the opportunity with Sarah posting on social media at some point. I had the opportunity of meeting Muamba in person when we were on the field, and what a super nice human being he was. So I just want to give a shout out to
he was
Muamba
really
and saying
He's
thank you for
nice
shaking
guy.
my hand. And I gotta admit, I've in my careers of selling cars and sports and different things, I've met a lot
here he is flexing
amazing people. But meeting Muamba the first time in person was when
He's plugging
times
himself.
I was starstruck.
Oh,
I didn't know what to say.
I shouldn't have said that. That
What
was
you said?
wrong.
Don't say
God.
that.
I said I'm not going to say it again. I will tell you after, Dan. I shouldn't have said
But
it.
absolutely, Enoch Mwamba is
gosh.
one of the is a super nice guy. He does a great job on TSN as well. You gotta absolutely love him. But it is time to move from the field to the ice. The Vegas Golden Knights took a 2-1 series lead with an absolute thriller of an overtime
what a
game.
What
However,
a game.
I am going to lead off this segment with a gas or ass. It's gas. Gas. There is gas. Or is it ass?
Jacob, I have one about this game as well, which is pretty funny. Not going to lie.
Gas or ass? Despite the loss, Carolina is carrying momentum into game 4 after erasing a 4-0 lead in 9 minutes.
Gas.
Gas. That was tough. Like, especially after giving up 3 goals in 36 seconds by Vegas, which was an absolute calamity after Carter Hart looked great through most of that game until he gave up 3 goals in 36 seconds out of absolutely nowhere from Carolina. I also do want to point out, nothing to do with Jacob's gas or ass, but any Vegas fans who are watching and going to complain about those 2 goals that were disallowed, both goals were deservedly chalked up. I did see Vegas fans being like, oh, this game, any real Vegas fan knows this game was actually 7-4. And I'm like, no, technically wasn't, because neither of those goals were ever going to count when they got reviewed. There was no damn way. And I'm gonna say it. I think Vegas, despite the win, should not be happy with last night's performance. That was not good enough from Vegas. That is not how you close out a game, a win. That is not how you close out a win. That was not good enough from Vegas. If I'm a Hurricanes fan, I'm not happy with most of the game either. But the fight back is what's impressive. That fight back from a team who's never been in this spot before. Their coach has been in this spot before. He knows what it takes to win a Stanley Cup. A lot of his team don't. And they showed up late in that game, stayed in it for a large part of it, despite being down 4-0. But like, they made it a game. And, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for, is that they fought until the end of the game. Now they lost. But I think if any fan base is going to be happy, I think if I'm a Hurricanes fan, I'm happy because of the fight back and how much heart that team showed. If I'm a Vegas fan, I am not happy. If I'm Tortorella, I would have torn that team a new one after that game. I would have torn them a new one today. I would tear them a new one ahead of game 4, because that was not good enough of a performance from that team. That team had that game in cruise control, and then they just choked it away. Now, I don't think you can pull Carter Hart from playing next game, but like,
I wouldn't do that.
Carter Hart's last 2 performances end in such bad manners, I guess.
The only thing I'll say of Carter Hart, and I've made it very clear I do not like him, but he played really well in the overtime. I thought Carolina easily could have won that game in the first 5 minutes of the first overtime. I just feel, and then I want to get Lane's perspective, because Lane has a different perspective than we do. I just feel for Carolina, they gained so much momentum by being able to fight back in that game when they looked dead in the water. And I just feel Carolina, I said it in the Montreal series, I felt they needed belief. And I feel after going down 4-0 and then coming back to push this game to overtime, and then I think they had higher quality chances than Vegas in the first overtime. I really feel if you're Carolina, you do still have a lot of confidence that you can make this a best of 3. But what's your thoughts, Lane? I guess you're kind of like, hey, a loss is a loss.
Yeah, like ultimately, I hate saying it because it pained me more to say this than anything, but congratulations, Mitch Marner, on winning a Stanley Cup. I hate saying it. I just don't know. I don't think Carolina. You know what's funny? Vegas is proving that they're the team to be, right? Like, it's gonna suck because they shouldn't even have made the playoffs, but here we are. They're up 2-1. They got home ice. I think they're actually gonna win Tuesday night and take a 3-1 advantage. That's gonna be a huge game if Carolina loses. I don't see them coming back. I think if this was game 4 in this situation going back to Lenovo, I think, Jacob, you would be a little more right because at least Carolina would have the home ice advantage coming off of such a big comeback, coming back from 4 goals and tying it and trying to send it to overtime and losing. I think they'd have a little more momentum, but the fact that it's still in Vegas, it's going to be home. That crowd's going to be going crazy. They still got the win. John Tortorella has proven that he is a coach that can get Mitch Marner and the gang that apparently has never been able to calm down. He can coach this team well enough to win the games, and whether you like the players or not, whether it's controversies or not often on the ice, and whatever they've done in their personal history, this team continues to win. And I don't want to see them win because it pains me more to watch this team win. But at the end of the day, they're winning, and I just disagree.
So Lane, sorry, I have a quick question for you. You're crowning Vegas champions already.
Yeah,
they're up 2-1, and you're already. I'm sorry, that is quite possibly the worst thing.
That's fine.
Like, that is.
I think they're going to win.
You cannot have just said that. That is sorry. That is just no. You can't. But Lane, I'm just saying, like, to crown. I said this game 1 after Montreal's game. I saw Montreal fans come into that chat and crown themselves Eastern Conference champions consistently for how long we were in. They just kept badgering us, saying Montreal are already going to go into the Stanley Cup. And multiple people came in and said they were Stanley Cup champions already. You have 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Final. 1-0.
And then got gentlemen
Eastern Conference Finals, and they were already Stanley Cup champions because they dominated. Lane, let me finish. Let me finish first because I have a point to all of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Crowning a team, and then look at what happened the next 4 games. Carolina went out there and did Carolina things. They went out and dominated Montreal. In some aspects, you could say, especially in that last game, in that clinching game, they dog-walked Montreal. Montreal had no answer for how good Carolina is. And I'm going to say this again because I felt like this throughout the whole playoffs, especially when you guys picked your brackets. This is Carolina being underestimated again. And it's like Carolina's comeback was one of the better comebacks. I think Vegas can very easily win this cup. And I've said that consistently throughout these playoffs. But to already crown a team champion, I'm sorry, I'm trying to come up with the word I want to use here. It's just it's not arrogant, not irresponsible.
It's just too early. I feel
but there was like a specific word I was trying to remember. I can't remember the word.
We need to get Adam a dictionary for his birthday.
And it's not. Oh my God, I'm not gonna.
Get Adam a dictionary. You're on your phone. You're clearly on Amazon looking stuff up.
It's just irresponsible, and it's like, I'm sorry. It's not to say like it's just stupid to do it. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, in which Game 1 was a Vegas dominating win. For the last 2 wins, Vegas have given up multi-goal leads. Their defense and goaltending clearly isn't as stable as everybody assumed it was going to be heading into this series. And Carolina surely seems confident. They lose 1 game in double overtime after stealing the last game with a multi-goal comeback. It's irresponsible and just, blatantly stupid of a take to say Vegas are already champions. They've won 1 game in double overtime in which they looked hella uncomfortable near the end of that game, especially in overtime. And I'm sorry, it's going to be loud. And I heard multiple people tell me Montreal was going to dog walk Carolina and Montreal. That didn't happen. Vegas hasn't done it so far. And I just think it's an irresponsible take to crown Vegas champion. I think it was stupid to crown, if you crown Carolina champions before this series. Sorry, That's a stupid take as well. Crowning anybody a champion before they're up and have won the series is blatantly stupid. That's just what I feel like. I can't with that take. That take is just, it's not good after 3 games, especially when Vegas haven't looked great in any of the games.
Go ahead, Lane. I'm sure you have something to say about that to rebuttal.
I don't think everything I say is stupid, but nonetheless, well, here's what I will say. The difference between what I think now compared to what was before, Frederick Anderson can clearly not go back in the net. I don't see like he whether the goal he looked so that game, maybe it was just one game, maybe it wasn't. He looked so scared to be in that net. Like every minute, I did not see a confident goaltender in that. I saw a guy who was like, "Get me out of here now!" And now you're handing the net over to Brandon Bussey, who, let's be honest, is a rookie goaltender. You're handing what is a guy who's only been in the NHL a year, who just got handed the starting reins, got them taken away for underperformance. Now he has to go in and be the hero and try to win games against Carter Hart, which, like I said, whether you like him or not, was a proven goalie before. And it took him about half a season to get comfortable. But now Carter Hart is starting to show his confidence again in the net. So I don't like that aspect of it. And also, I just think that when I look at the statistics, and I hate to say it, but I look at guys like Mitch Marner, and I look at guys like Brett Howden and Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, those guys are constantly getting it done. They have 10 guys, almost all the top 10 guys in the points are Vegas players. They're getting production from the fourth lines, the third lines, the depth guys. They're getting value out of $1 million players, $770K players. They're getting value from the roster. And again, I don't like Vegas. I don't want to be right. I hope I'm wrong, but it's just a gut feeling I have watching these games. I watched the first game. I watched some of the second game in the hallway at Tim Hortons field because some guy hacked a security box so we could watch it. And I watched some of game 3. And I know that Vegas blew that lead, but I still think overall Vegas has looked like the better team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Carolina will come out and blow them off the door in game 4. But if they lose game 4 in Vegas, there's no way they're beating them in 3 games. It's just not happening.
You know what, though? I think it's just for me, and I just do want to jump in here and interject. I just feel for me personally, a 2-1 series lead is way too early to call a series, right? Because Carolina, including myself, has been underestimated these entire playoffs. And honestly, after what I saw from Bussey, I'm very comfortable putting him in the net for game 4.
I was going to say.
And I just feel like for Carolina, yeah, if they lose game 4, it's a different conversation. But I'm not going to say they've lost game 4 before the puck's even dropped. Apparently, you can't count Carolina out when they're down 4-0 with 9 minutes left.
But
so
Jacob,
this is a team that continues to find ways to come back. And you talk about all the players in Vegas. I can talk about Taylor Hall and Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake and Shestnikov, who got that big tying goal, and Aho, who's starting to get rolling, and Jarvis, who's starting to get rolling. And yes, Bussey was the backup for the playoffs. He had 35 wins in the regular season. So I'm not counting the Carolina Hurricanes out. Lane, I do get what you mean by you feel Vegas has that stature where they have played a bit cleaner hockey and they have those big guys who have been able to come up in big moments. But I feel so does Carolina, and I'm excited to see what game 4 brings.
But Jacob, I actually have to disagree with something. Every game so far has been a 1-goal game. I disagree with the fact Vegas have been cleaner and better because every game has been a blown lead. Vegas were not convincing in game 1, 2, or 3. Carolina blew a 2-goal lead in that game, but then the game was close. Like the game was tied with 9 minutes left in the game, something like that. And then Vegas were able to win on 1 goal. They then blew 2 straight leads and recovered 1 of them. Now, mind you, Lane, you brought up the fact that their goalie, that Bussey doesn't have much experience. I want to ask you all, none of you are allowed to look this up. I want just a clean, straight answer. How many games did Cam Ward play out of winning the Stanley Cup with Carolina? How many games? Question, Jacob, how many games? Cam Ward was a rookie that year. How many games did he start that year ahead of the playoffs? How many games did he start? Jacob.
I think it was maybe around 15.
Okay. Dan.
I'm going to say 31.
Okay. Lane.
I'll say 20.
Okay. Rick, how many games do you think Cam Ward played?
And what year?
It was his rookie year, so the year they won the Cup, so that was 06. 05, 06, I think it was.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I'm thinking probably like 15 to 20.
He played 30 games he had 30 games of experience.
I was
30 games of experience heading into the playoffs when he went on and won the Conn Smythe Trophy as Carolina's best player as he went on and backstopped Carolina to a Stanley Cup Final victory. Bussy has 9 more games of experience in his rookie season than Cam Ward did, but when Cam Ward backstopped Carolina to victory. Now, mind you, Bussy coming in is a lot of pressure. Cam Ward went in with a lot of pressure heading into the playoffs, being the number one guy at how old he was. But Vegas haven't been impressive. Vegas haven't been clean. They haven't been clean at all in these playoffs. Now, mind you, they've gotten the job done in tough circumstances, but neither team are clean and neither team are exactly convincing. And I'm sorry, it's irresponsible, and I'm not saying when Lane comes back, I'll tell him this as well. I don't think everything he's saying is stupid, but to say this series is already done and dusted is stupid. So it just is.
What do you think about all this, Dan? I know you said gas, that you feel Carolina can take momentum from coming back. But what's your thoughts? Remember, it's 2-1 Vegas heading into game 4.
I think Lane and Adam and you, Jacob, and we gotta get Rick's opinion too. I think you guys summed it all up. I don't think I really have anything else to add. I say gas that Carolina has the momentum because at the end of the day, I think they broke NHL record getting 4 goals in the last 9 minutes of a game, right? And it still bothers me. I believe in karma, right? And I think between Mitch Marner, how he left Toronto, the whole Carter Hart situation, I think it's bad drama in our locker room. I think it's bad karma. I think eventually it's going to equal up versus Carolina. There's a good group of guys. Everyone just likes them. Well, okay, no, a bunch of jerks. But even that, there is a good group of guys, you know.
What's your thoughts, Rick?
To be honest, I'm more in off-season mode than I'm worried about the Grey Cup because obviously, Hamilton has their team now, so I've just been following on like off-season stuff, to be honest.
Hey, you know what? Fair enough.
At least you're honest.
At least, Rick, we do appreciate.
Wow. His team's been gone for 2 rounds, so you know what? Fair enough.
We do appreciate.
And I've been following other sports than the NHL, so.
Well, we gotta give a shout out to the Toronto Marlies quickly for winning their game.
So good thing you brought that up, Dan, because I have some interesting stuff for that.
Go ahead.
I was looking in the background. So games 3, 4, and 5 will be June 16th, 18th, and if necessary, June 19th. Tickets go on sale noon tomorrow.
Ooh.
And I'm definitely not going to try to butcher his name because I know I will. What's the goalie's name for the Marlies?
Antonov?
Archer.
Thank you.
Akatomov? I don't remember.
Okay, so anyways, in 17 games through 4 rounds, he's posted a .927 save percentage, a 2.12 goals against average, over 1,000 minutes in goals, 460 saves, 72 shots faced in the last 2 games, and 71 of them have been saves.
Incredible. So here we are all excited about Dennis Hildeby in Maple Leaf land. Now I got to look at Antonov, and, maybe this kind of brings to a gas. Yeah, this does bring to a gas to us. Let's do it.
Oh, Dan wants to see that donkey boy. Yeah. There is ass. Or is it ass?
Or add to Wick's point here, okay? I think Antonov and Hildeby, between Hildeby playing so well last year in the NHL, Antonov getting us to the AHL championship, I think these two goalies are too good to be in the AHL next year. And I think you have to trade Joseph Woll and both Anthony Stolarz this offseason to give both of these guys more NHL playing time.
Dan, no
I will
offense.
say
I'm
one,
gonna go
not
ass.
both.
Dan, I'm gonna go ass on both. I think that's
What?
No disrespect, Dan. That's kind of stupid to trade two NHL goalies, and I think that takes ridiculous. You can't trade two NHL goalies for two goalies of next to no experience. Like,
I'd trade one.
I would trade one of them for sure.
I would
But
trade
Dan, I'm sorry.
Stoli.
That's just, to me, that's just appalling that you
So,
want to
Dan-
go in, because remember, they don't want to rebuild. They're claiming this is a retool. I'm not retooling this team with between the two goalies have practically as much NHL experience as the water boy. That doesn't work.
Adam just pointed out that Cam Ward won the Stanley Cup of 30 games. Between Winnipeg and Sydney, it's about 30 games.
And I agree to an extent. I understand what you're saying. But at least in Akatomov's spot, this is his second year in North America, playing hockey in North America. And it's his first year being one of the guys down there in the AHL. And, that's a little bit more, I think another year down there for him is good. I think him being down there for at least another year is good for his development. Okay. Hildeby has no place in the AHL, and I do not know why he's down there because he has no reason to be down there, and it makes literal zero sense to me, and I expect him to be in the NHL next year, even if one of Woll or Stoli is not traded. Hildeby cannot be down in the AHL next year. That's going to stunt his development. But I think if either goalie is going, it's Stoli. Despite Woll's performance at the World Championships, I don't think there's a reason. I still think I was so surprised Stoli wasn't traded in the offseason. I mean, sorry, not at the offseason, at the trade deadline, because he just wasn't good this year. And I don't know how much better he's going to be in Toronto next year. But Dan, I actually fully understand why you're saying that. I just think that could ruin Akatomov's development is all.
Yeah, makes sense.
Look, I think he's been the starter in the playoffs for the Marlies because they want him to be the guy next year in the Marlies. So I think trading one of them makes sense, Dan, but I'm sorry. I think you're out to breakfast, lunch, and dinner saying you trade both your NHL goalies. Because now you do that. Neither one of these guys have ever been a starter in the NHL, and they both get injured because of the pace of the game. Now what the hell do you do? You're up a creek without a paddle. You can't do that, Dan. I'm sorry. That's just...
Sink or swim.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I think this is a real important year for Toronto next year. And no, I personally can't do that. But Lane, what do you agree with Dan? Dan was saying he would trade both Woll and Stolarz to bring up Hildeby and Akhtaminov next season. Get rid of both of your NHL goalies.
I don't know. So I don't know exactly. Maybe you guys would know better than me. When does the his 16-team no trade clause click into? Would
July 1st?
So it would be after the draft. So yeah, I think if the Leafs are smart, I think you got to trade Stolarz at the draft. And even if you get the 32nd pick of the draft, or even maybe the 35th pick, if a team's willing to give you maybe a low-end first rounder, or maybe their player disappears and they, because that happens all the time. Sometimes you're Colorado, you wanted this player, and then someone takes him, and you're like, well, we don't want a player to the third round now. Maybe you try to call them and say, hey, we're looking for a first round pick because we're not going to have any first round picks for the next 2 years because of our situation. Maybe would you trade your first round pick for Stolarz straight up, and maybe you try to strike a deal on the trade floor. If I'm John Chayka, I'm trying to do something like that, because at the end of the day, this team will need some prospects to carry them forward. They're going to need some good defensemen to kind of try to replace some of these guys that can't play, like Chris Tanev. We don't know his health. Morgan Riley apparently might not be coming back. So I think you're going to need some defensemen, maybe not who are maybe on the borderline AHL, NHL ready. So maybe you try to strike a deal for an Anthony Stolarz, and I would definitely try to trade it before that 16-team no trade clause kicks in, because once you get stuck with that, you're basically stuck with them for everything.
So you would say, though, Lane, you would still keep Wall. So you'd keep one of those guys still.
I'd keep Wall and Hildeby, yeah, and I get rid of Stolar because again, like I said to you guys this before. I really think, and I still stand to this. I think when Stolarz came back and demanded to play, and said Hildeby goes, not me. I really think that's when this team took a downfall because
yeah, I'd agree with that.
I hate to say it, but when the team was trying to build, it's like imagine you have a team. You're a team, right? You're building friendships. You're building communications. You're seeing the guy. He's going up there. Hildeby's coming up there. You guys are getting wins. You're starting to turn the steam around. You're starting to feel good. The boys are buzzing. Everyone's good. Everyone's got the good mentality. And then you have a guy who kind of pulled a Ryan Dinwiddie and said the team sucked, called out the team for basically sucking, said they all have no effort, and then isn't willing to go play 1 or 2 games for the Marlies to get back in proper mental shape. He makes you get rid of the guy that he's been playing good when you're on a 7-game winning streak. You come in, you let in 8 goals on 9 shots, and all of a sudden you guys go on a late game losing streak.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Stolarz put his big boy pants on and kind of said, I want to be the man, and wouldn't let the boy who was actually doing good, and then it ruined the mentality of the team. So, yeah.
Hey, you know what?
He's about
Lane, to piggyback on you on that, even in the postseason interviews, Stolarz just going on about the team this, the team this, the team that, but said, I thought I played okay this year, and Stolarz was terrible this year.
Yeah.
I think with Stolarz too, I take it all the way back to when he called out Nylander for not back checking when him himself was having a bad year. And I understand maybe Nylander didn't care, but that does divide a dressing room, whether you like it or not. Now in Toronto, though, you could really get into coaching as being as also setting up the culture. I don't want to get into every single person the Leafs have interviewed because it's 15 candidates. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I more want to ask, and Rick, I'll start with you on this. Yes. Do you like the fact that Toronto is basically looking at every option, whether it's people think it's good or bad, they're at least doing their research?
So here's my thought on this is, would you rather have a proven coach that has won Stanley Cups before, or would you say take a chance on someone that's never coached before and your team just be worse than what it was this year? Outside of winning the draft lottery, that is.
I think that is the debate Leafland's having right now. Do you want a veteran coach, or do you want,
when I say veteran coach, I'm talking about say, for example, Peter Laviolette, or I don't know, some of the other coaches that are out there, or a Joel Pavelski, who is an unproven. Joel Pavelski, if he's gonna go into coaching, start at OHL, AHL, something minor.
Well, Joe Pavelski is teaching. Well, mind you, Joe Pavelski is coaching U15, his sons. Marty St. Louis coached his sons before he got the Montreal Canadiens job. So not necessarily, that route is not necessarily a dictate how you get into the NHL. Now, mind you, I have a question for all of you. So this is going to make Jacob very happy, I feel like. And I feel like Jacob already knows the answer. So Jacob has to answer this last. Or maybe I won't let Jacob answer this at all. Since 1990, which Leaf coach has the highest win percentage as a Leafs coach? Dan, you go first.
Sheldon Keefe.
Okay, Lane. Highest win percentage, not wins, win percentage.
Win percentage. I'm gonna
point say percentage. Sorry, I should say point percentage.
I was gonna guess Sheldon Keefe too, but it probably isn't. But I was gonna guess that too.
The only one that I was gonna think of is Pat Quinn.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Jacob, what is your answer?
I think he lost a lot too.
I was going to say it's either Sheldon Keefe or Pat Quinn, so I'll go Pat Quinn.
It's Sheldon Keefe with a 665. Pat Quinn has a 591. Sheldon Keefe, now mind you, Pat Quinn had more experience before Sheldon Keefe came in. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. My thought process is inexperience has worked, and we've seen it work multiple times now. Dan Muse, inexperienced when he came into the job. Now, Dan, I see you shaking your head, but Dan, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
No explanations, no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't really care. Who was your coach of the year this year?
Oh, it's Lindsey Ruff, 100%.
Well, Lane, I didn't ask you. I asked Dan.
I had an answer for this, and I forget who I said.
Just think now, Dan. Don't think about the past.
Now.
Give him an answer. Hurry up. Go.
So
Go!
Adam, I have a follow-up
Dan,
question for you while
Dan.
Dan thinks about this.
Well, Rick, wait, no, because I have a thought, because I have a process. Dan, who's
Okay,
the team
fine,
you've been riding? Dan, who's the coach?
Louis.
Who's the team you've been riding since the start of the playoffs because you love Montreal so much?
Montreal St. Louis.
Okay, Marty St. Louis. What do you think of Marty St. Louis?
I think he's a good coach.
What is Marty St. Louis? What was Marty St. Louis' experience before being an NHL head coach? What was his experience? Where did he coach? He coached nowhere. He coached his sons. So you shaking your head makes my head hurt because the team that you've been riding saying is the best Canadian team has the most inexperienced coach. He's one of the most inexperienced coaches who had his job because he was an NHL legend. Mind you, I'm saying now the Leafs have an inexperienced job and you're shaking your head, but look at who the Leafs have had. Craig Berube has been an utter disaster outside of his first year. Mike Babcock was an utter joke when he came in.
So
Randy
was Sheldon
Carlisle
Keefe.
wasn't much better. Ron
Sheldon
Wilson
Keefe
wasn't
was
much better. Like Pat Quinn had a great reign, but that was the
Well,
last
Rob
guy who was
Vanderbilt,
really
that was the
great.
name I was going to say.
But like there wasn't anybody like experience works, but at some point you have to switch it up because experience doesn't always work. And we've seen it happen now multiple times where Rod Brindamore didn't have much experience when he came in to be Carolina's coach. It's like inexperience works. And we've seen it work before. This is not something that the Leafs are just going to magically be the first team to try. Experience hasn't worked. Why not try inexperience? It can't get much worse. We already missed the playoffs this year.
Jacob, I think hell is frozen over because for the first time on this show, me and Adam agree with each other.
You've agreed on other.
No, but
Be like that.
Adam, I'm actually going to piggy bank on your back here, and
I don't want you to. No, I want to be on my own on this. I don't like when people piggyback off my idea. No piggybacking. Get off my back.
Well, no. I'm going to anyway.
No piggybacking allowed.
Because I actually agree with what Adam said. Because you think about it, right? The Leafs. Here's what I'll say about the Leafs, and I'll make this quick because we've been on already for 2 hours. The Leafs have never. Up until I think, honestly, now, never run this team like a hockey team. They run it like a corporation. They always want the shiny new toy. They always want the sexy press conferences and, oh, look who we got. We got option A. He's the best thing ever. He's the shiny new toy that everybody. Oh, we got the best GM. You know what the Leafs finally did this year? They actually ran their team like a hockey team. They went out and got a questionable guy who got suspended, got suspended and outcasted from the league, and said, "Let's make him the GM." They went and got a guy who was unproven in his hockey career and said, "Let's make him the senior vice president of the team." They went and made bold moves. Go make another bold move and go get an inexperienced coach that'll be on the same page as John Chayka and Matt Sundin. And let's actually have a 3-man unit that agree with each other. Let's have a 3-man unit that work with each other instead of one guy being like, well, I want this and I want that and I want peanuts. No, let's have 3 guys that are all connected, that all work on the same page. Let's run this team like a hockey team. I'm cool with having a guy that doesn't have the experience because I feel like we whenever we get the experienced guy, you know, he always wants it his way. He's like, well, I want to play Austin Matthews in this because I played right around 10 years. I don't care what happened 10 years ago. That's not the roster today. I want guys who are going to listen and be on the same page. The reason why it works in Montreal is because Marty St. Louis, Kent Hughes are always on the same page. They don't have their own ideas. They talk to each other. They communicate. And at the end of the day, they want the same thing. So I want I want John Chayka to go hire the guy that's going to be on the same page with him and Matt Sundin, and that's how they will win games.
So
they may as well hire Wayne Gretzky as your coach, man.
No, Dan, no, that would be stupid, and you know that's stupid. But I'm going to agree with Lane on everything except one thing.
What's that?
Let's hire Jessica Campbell as the Toronto Maple Leafs new head coach. Let's go way off the board. Let's bring in someone who is going to coach this team differently than every other team.
I'm down.
She left Seattle without even trying to get a new agreement. So something fishy happened in Seattle. We don't know what it is. But I would love Toronto to go out and take a risk. I think hiring Cheka and Sundin, you're already taking a risk. Let's go big or go home. Jessica Campbell is very smart. She is a very smart woman.
I have a question.
I think she would be the perfect fit for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. She's an offensive-minded person. She can fit right in there, and I think she can do wonders for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm sick and tired of the NHL, and I'm going to call it out for being misogynistic, for not looking outside of the males to go out there and get the job done. So I want Jessica Campbell to be the new head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's go. Let's change the game.
So we should hire Willie Wickenheiser's horse to come. What do you think of Austin Matthews' game?
What do you think?
So I have a question for you guys about this whole Toronto thing is, because I'll just use the whole Joel Pavelski thing as an example. So if you go into an interview saying, and again, Adam's point where he's coached his under 15s or whatever it is, how can you go into a professional thing trying to say, oh, well, you have no real experience other than coaching kids. So what experience of a coach do you really have with professionals? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
100%. If you've never coached professionally before, like, what are you going to offer a team? I coach this way.
Well, but Rick, have you ever tried to be around kids? They're annoying. They go 6, 7.
I think what Joe Pavelski brings though is, and I think it's different from other coaches. He brings he comes in, I think, with an already established, like there's already respect established.
Well, yeah,
that Joe Pavelski was one of the best players in the NHL through the majority of his career. He is well respected as one of the best American-born players to have ever played in the NHL. Whether you like it or not, that's what he was. He was captain. He was Captain America. He was a guy that led a very good San Jose team, along with Jumbo Joe and Patrick Marleau. Didn't win anything, but he was a big part of that team. He was a big part of Dallas the last couple of years before his retirement, and he's very well respected as a veteran. And he brings in a lot of. Now, he doesn't bring in a lot of coaching experience, but he knows what it takes to play in the NHL. He knows all of this, and these players will come into the dressing room with, I think there's already, like, he has an established reputation of being as being a guy who, knows what it takes and knows the disappointment of losing a Stanley Cup Final. And he knows all of this, and he brings a ton of playoff experience in. And like Marty St. Louis was in the same boat when he came in, and he demanded respect, and he had respect for Montreal's players when he came into the dressing room. And I don't see why Joe Pavelski can't also do that. Now, mind you, Marty St. Louis was a Hall of Famer when he came in as a coach. Joe Pavelski is not an NHL. Dan, if you keep waving your hand like that, I'm going to just keep talking, and then I'm going to look like an idiot, waving your hand like you're like doing like a queen.
No,
it's really annoying me, Dan. And now I'm going to keep talking until you put your damn hand down. Now you have, so I will allow you to talk because you were distracting me, Dan. I could have just been talking forever.
I didn't know my hand was that good looking. Maybe it should be a hand.
It's very distracting.
There are jobs that my hand can do.
Okay, Dan.
Oh my God, Dan.
All I'm going to say is about Joe Pavelski. Adam, you took the words out of my mouth, literally. Who are Joe Pavelski's line mates? Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. What do Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton have in common? They both failed as Maple Leaf players with Captain Underpants. So now we bring the trio to fail as the bench boss, okay? This is a horrible decision. The difference in Montana St. Louis, though, when Montreal hired him, Montreal was in a rebuilding state. So it makes sense to bring in a rookie coach and rebuilding states. With these Toronto Maple Leafs, they want to be a retool team.
Dan.
They need to put in someone. Also, just to end this, since we are letting everyone with no experience do anything, I want to be a psychiatrist because psychiatrists are cool doctors that drive process and have fun in the closets, but don't have to look at blood. So if someone with no NHL experience can be a coach, I want to be a doctor.
Dan, number one, you're an idiot. Number two, you were going on and on and on and on. The Leafs need to rebuild. They suck. I have to go to the bathroom again. The Leafs are rebuilding. They can't hire Joe Pavelski. What the hell is wrong with you?
Because the team itself, Toronto Maple Leafs have said they're not rebuilding, they're retooling. I think we should rebuild.
Anything about either way.
You said it himself. Retool, not rebuild.
I said that. Not the team.
You said it.
You keep telling me they're rebuilding. So if they're rebuilding, why not get a young coach and rebuild together? And I still say meet in the middle. Go bring in someone who has experience, but is not an old head coach who is going to tell William Nylander he needs to block 5 shots a game, because that doesn't work.
The most money in the NHL. Yes, there's a cap in players. There are no caps in staff. Go out and spend $10 million and bring in the best person possible.
Okay, Dan, it doesn't work that way. And Dan, I will tell you why, okay?
Tell me why.
No. Dan, shut up. I'm calling you out here. I am going to hand you a $10,000 camera, and I'm going to use my bleeping cell phone, and I'm going to tell the two of us to go out there and shoot a movie. Whose movie's going to be better?
Well, mine, because I have the best story.
No, Dan, it'll be mine. That's what the hell I'm doing.
Oh, my God, Dan.
Well, actually, technically, neither, because if you guys don't know how to edit and put together video,
which
both of them are going to be shit.
Dan doesn't even know how to plug anything into his own computer.
See that on the Analyst Desk.
Horrible at editing.
No, but Dan, I'm sorry. Like, it's not, the money doesn't do jack diddly. Look at these teams that are maxed at the cap. They're not the ones that are in the Cup Finals, are they? No, they're not.
Vegas is maxed.
Well, okay, Vegas got lucky because they're in the worst division in NHL history. They basically have to play one round to get here. They have to pillow fight. It is like, I'm sorry, Dan, but no, like, to go, number one, you can't keep walking things back. You tell me I'm crazy because I say Justin Rankin's the best player because of what he's done. You say he doesn't have enough experience, but you think Jakob Dolbish is the next Ken Dryden.
I said he could be.
Me the Leafs are rebuilding, but they can't go get a young coach because they're retooling. Those two things do not go together, Dan. And number three, you're talking about Pavelski. Pavelski, did he play with Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau when they were in Toronto, when they were different humans than what they were back in San Jose? No, he didn't. So that's also invalid. And number 4, make up your mind on what sport team you ought to wear. You're probably wearing Toronto Maple Leaf underwear. You're probably wearing Hamilton Forge socks. You're too damn confusing. But no, like, I
never wear matching socks.
I want to see Jessica Campbell as the Toronto Maple Leafs' new head coach. I think this is a strategic risk that can really pay off. She's very smart. And I honestly, though, I like that the Leafs are interviewing anyone that they can possibly think of.
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistakes team make, they interview one person, it was okay, I can't be bothered doing any more. This is what the media wants me to do, so this is what I'm going to do. Like or lump Keith Pelly, he's not falling to pressure. Because if he was falling to pressure, there's no way in how Checo would be hired as GM and Matt Sundin would be hired as whatever the hell he's doing with his life.
We said ChatGPT should be the head coach.
I have to respect that they're at least that they haven't rushed to a decision yet, and I think you have to respect that, whether you like Keith Pelly or not. The way that they went about the GM hiring and about Sundin's hiring, they did a good job. They interviewed a bunch of people, and they've done a good job about this, whether you like it or not, lump it or not. They've done better than what they've done in the past with their coaching hirings. If you remember when Craig Berube got hired, I don't even think they mentioned anybody else but Craig Berube.
No,
he's the only name that was talked about. Yeah, like this is the way they've gone about this hiring is much better than what they've done in the past. Now the Sheldon Keefe hiring, lump it or not, Kyle Dubas had his guy that he trusts, and that was Sheldon Keefe. Kyle Dubas respected and trusted one guy throughout every team he went to, and he had success everywhere he went with Sheldon Keefe. And we didn't win a cup, but he won nearly 70% of his games here in Toronto. Like whether you liked him or not, he had some sort of success. And you know what? At the end of the day, the only really great period we've had in the last 20 years outside of the early 2000s was with Sheldon Keefe. And my opinion, we should hire somebody inexperienced. And like other people want to be hung up on Cassidy, who was fired by Vegas, but Vegas is letting nobody interview him. They shouldn't wait until Cassidy can take an interview. Screw that. At the end of the day, you can't wait for other people to make up their mind whether we can interview him or not. Screw that. That we don't like. This organization cannot run on other people's timetables anymore. That's not how this works.
And I want to say, to round off this discussion, the Leafs need to hire a coach before draft day, because you want to know what you're doing. What's the goal of this season? And you can't do that without a head coach. And I'm sorry, but I think it's time.
The draft is coming up soon too.
The Leafs need to continue to do what they've been doing and not give a bleep when anyone else is saying about them, and just do the decision that they think is right. No offense, Dan. I don't think John Chickard gives two craps what you think about his hirings.
Yeah, no, and exactly. I don't think he does either, and he shouldn't.
No offense, he doesn't give a crap about what any of us say. Why would
exactly?
Why should John Cheka why should he take his opinion of random fans who bought microphones off Amazon? Like, realistically, right? Like, no, and I'm not criticizing what we're doing and what other podcasters and broadcasters are doing. But like, and if I'm hiring someone, I'm not going to go off and hire someone just because Rick told me to. No, I'm going to go interview the people who I think they do. Or if Lane says to me, hire this guy or you're a moron, they'll say, fine, I'm a moron. Or if Dan says to me, if you don't hire this guy, I'm going to punch you in the weenus, then punch me. I'm going to make the decision that I think is best.
Yeah, so that's what I think is wrong with a lot of sports fans, and I think specifically Leaf fans over the summer, is that Leaf fans seem to think that they know more than what the organization knows. And I'm going to call out everybody. Dan, Lane, Jacob, we've all been thinking that we're no better than this organization. You all have called out the coaches. We've called out general management. But what do we know? We're on the internet and we're just spewing our opinions. These guys are hired for a reason. True. Whether you like Brad Treliving or not, Brad Treliving has a job for a reason. Dan, whether you like him or not, there's a reason Brad Treliving is employed in the NHL and you're not.
He's not employed.
Like, whether we like it or not, there's a reason he has a job. There's a reason he had a job. There is clearly a reason that people keep hiring the guy.
Yeah, because
you don't get hired. You don't get hired for no reason. Like, that's not how. Like, he knows what he's talking about. There's a reason Chaka has a job. He knows what he's doing. Like, and at the end of the day, they know more than you guys do.
Fake ChatGPT.
And it's going to be the same thing at the draft. If they don't want McKenna, McKenna's not going to go number one. Whether fans like it or not.
We were originally going to talk about Gavin McKenna today, but we've gone over time today, so we're not going to do the Gavin McKenna conversation today. I will just say the Leafs did meet with him, and they were impressed. I don't know what that means. Maybe they like his hat. Who knows?
I saw him going really hard on exercise bikes. Maybe he's got
he did. He can go much faster on exercise bike than any of us can. But now it's time to talk about the state of EA football. And
what about Lane's baseball?
We'll get to baseball. Yeah, don't worry, Dan. Dan,
I don't know anything to do with football.
It was supposed to be a surprise. Dan ruined it. Everyone who was waiting for the big surprise at the end of the show, never invite Dan to your surprise birthday party because he'll tell you about it on the drive over.
Honestly, I don't see Dan doing that. By the way, it was a surprise party. Oh,
but we have EA releasing their new football game. So just to put into perspective, the base college football game is going to be $89.99. The deluxe version, which will get it to you 3 whole days earlier, and apparently a Road to Glory bonus, is going to be $130.
What?
Madden is the same idea, except you're going to get 4,600 Madden points and a franchise bonus. Or you can buy the 2 deluxe games together and bonuses for both for $200. And I'm sorry, EA Sports, and Rick, I know you probably have a better perspective on this new game than me, but I'm going to say this until you prove to me that you actually understand how football physics work, because like they still haven't made a better game than All-Pro 2K8, and a game made in 2007 should not be the bloody standard of what football video games are. No way in hell I'm paying $200 for these. I think it's absurd. And two, then there's another thing about a whole monthly subscription. What the hell is this? Netflix for football gaming? It's insane. And like I watched the big presentation EA Sports did. It was basically just a giant circle, whatever, which I won't say the other word, but it was ridiculous. I don't know, boys. I see the gameplay. I already see equipment looks out of date. Lighting doesn't look that great. I'm not that excited about it. But Rick, what's your thoughts since you've actually been, you've been actually playing it?
So I will be honest, I did splurge for the MVP bundle, which is the top bundle. So basically the reason why that price is that price, because you get both games.
I know, but $200.
No, I'm just saying that's why it is that much. So also depends on how people think about it. You actually get to see refs throw flags in this game, which is kind of funny.
2K5 had that.
No, I'm just saying that. The only thing that I'm going to say where EA Sports went wrong in this is, I don't know about you guys, if you guys are dynasty, franchise, whatever the heck you want to call it these days.
Yeah.
But if you played 26, you've seen that there was different things you can unlock in franchise mode.
Yeah.
Coaching, points, whatever the heck you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they did this year was they put one of those behind a paywall. So if you don't buy it by July 1st, you don't get that
so stupid
coach thing in franchise mode.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you're going to charge $200 for a game, and now I got to buy something else just so I can have a proper coach in the game. It's getting
so the $200 you're getting both games. So it's really you're paying both games at once.
I have a question. Maybe I misunderstood this. So if I did, I apologize for being stupid. But this case, I didn't misunderstand. Did he say a game was going to be $89.99 and the other game is
the base version?
So Dan,
it'll be cheaper by two base versions, right?
But the MVP is the deluxe
Not
version.
really.
So Dan, here, I'll explain this to you.
Okay.
So if you just want the base game, you can buy the base game.
Learn, hold your hats. Okay.
But then there's people that, for example, CFL, not CFL, the deluxe game, you get it 3 days early. MVP bundle, you get it 7 days early. Then you get all of these, I don't know, they call it MUT, but it's like online. Like if you play against other people online.
No, I don't do that because I'm old.
No, I'm just saying if you do, you get, X amount of points towards that. You get franchise points, which you can use in your franchise mode. Like you're supposed, like if you get if you play, what is it? The my player might be a pro, whatever they call it nowadays.
Yeah.
You can start as an 81 overall player. Like depends on what you're looking for.
I don't care about that.
Can you show
So
me,
then for you, all the other packages don't make sense. So for me, the MVP made sense because I do content on that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get.
So it all depends on if you just want the base game, or if you. So Dan, if I were you, I would just basically wait for the game to go on sale and just get it then.
Well, that's what I always do
what I
anyway. That's what I do.
You guys just sit there and just play for it for fun. But if you're, you do content, you usually want to get your content out there before everyone 100%. Else.
No.
So obviously getting the game. And also, Dan, don't forget, the MVP bundle just had you had access to the beta over the weekends, but you couldn't record any content from it.
What?
So,
which, by the way, that's another thing. You're making me pay to get the damn game early. I literally want to advertise your stupid thing for free, and you won't let me do it. Like, I'm sorry, but I am sick and tired of this.
The thing is, Jacob, that's not the full game, though.
I don't care. If I play a demo version of a game, I could post it on my YouTube channel before. EA Sports, the way they want to I'm not going to use the wording I'd like to use off camera, but the way they're doing these things, I'm sorry, but $200 and I'm going to get 2 games that don't work. Because let's be honest, the games never play right at launch. We all know that. And I'm sick and tired of EA Sports, and I'm going to be one that calls them out. They need to, until they do better. I don't remember the last time I bought an EA video game when it first came out. So now, because everyone else is complaining about the price of sporting tickets, so now that I can't afford $200 for 2 games when it first comes out, I can't even upgrade my coach properly because I got to wait for it to go on sale. Like, EA Sports, get your head out of your butthole. Like, this is just ridiculous.
So it's not that you can't upgrade your head coach. It's basically one of the NIL perks. And
I understand that, but it's like you're basically forcing people who want to actually get the full game, which you don't even get the full game, because I guarantee you when the game launches, it's not going to play right. They never do. And like, you even start to go down about lists. So franchise mode, I'm comparing Madden 07 to Madden 27. From what I've heard, Madden 27, you will not be able to set concession prices, ticket prices, stadium financing. You can't do a full recreate. You can't build a team in the actual game. You can't rebuild a stadium in a game. They still don't have a weekly newspaper system. They don't have the proper radio show. They don't have as good presentation. Like, it's just superstar mode. You still don't have the apartment home. You still don't have the agent system. You still don't have proper interviews. Position battles are a joke. You don't have the lifestyle decisions properly. Create a team still isn't completely there. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm comparing a football game from 20 years ago, and it had way more features. Oh, and by the way, I didn't have to spend $130 to get it.
Does your best friend stay alive?
Okay,
so,
and that was a very different college football game. But Lane
just so that you do know,
for us to take a look at here.
So just want to clarify some things, because some of the information on there was a little wrong. So I just wanted to clarify some things. So it does say here on the page, if you have purchased Madden 24, Madden 25, Madden 26, or any of the last Madden games, you get a 10% discount on the MVP membership. So that means you can actually get the deluxe Madden game, the deluxe college football game, which is a $240 value for $180, which is the same price.
So to be honest, when I got mine the other day, I got it for cheaper than what that says, but then you have to include taxes and everything. So mine was just under $2.
So you do get a 10% discount, and you also get EA Play membership, which allows you to download any EA Sports video game that is considered to be a year old or older. So any game they made, which is UFC, NHL, any game they've ever made, you can download for free on your PlayStation or Xbox. But with this, you do also get the 7-day early access. You get the beta access. You get everything that Rick was talking about in college football. In all the deluxe points for your hot team, you get to play the NHL early with all the hot teams that are valued at whatever dollar process they want. You get all the coaching, you get all the Madden points, and you basically get it for the same price as paying for 2 games. So honestly, that's not too bad. But me and Dan, that's funny you brought this up, Jacob, because me and Dan actually had a good little rant on WhatsApp the other day, where I said what I don't understand is everyone gets mad at Rockstar Gaming, and especially a game that Dan likes to play, Gran Turismo. Everybody gets mad at these publicitors that they put a game out every 10 years or so, or 12 years, or you feel like you haven't played the game since you were a child and first found a roadblock for Rubik's Cube, learn how to do the Rubik's Cube. But guess what? Those games actually work. I don't understand it, Jacob. I'm going to piggyback off you now. I don't understand EA's motive. Hey, let's charge people $300 for a game that doesn't work. And then they sit there in their board meetings go, our sales are low because your game doesn't work.
Okay, so Lane, I got a question for you. And again, I'm not picking on anyone. If a game doesn't work, why do you buy it?
Well, and
that's my point, Rick.
Well, because they don't have another option. I
Because
don't buy that.
Again, then here's the thing. if you, and again,
You
this
don't have to
isn't
buy
towards
the
you, this is towards everyone out there. If you don't like their product, don't buy it, because then if you buy it, you're not going to prove a point of things should be better because people are buying the game. If you don't like it, then don't buy it. Then maybe
Well, I agree, but that's
things
never
will
going to happen.
change.
Well, and the problem is to that, the only thing I'll say the issue for that is if you want an NFL game, this is your only option. If you want a college football game, this is your only
what I'm
option.
saying though is,
But I do get what you're saying, Rick.
If
I agree,
you
Rick.
see sales go down, obviously NFL is going to see, okay, maybe something's wrong. We should be pulling our license from EA Sports. They're not going to do that if people are buying the game. So if you don't like it, don't buy it.
But that's never going to
I
happen.
will say this. I feel bad for our viewers because I know everyone enjoys the game simulations we do. I am not buying Madden 27 or College Football 27 until it drops at least 40%. It's way too expensive for a game that's not going to work.
When
when I say it's not going to work, I mean, like, there's going to be glitches in coverage. I'm going to find a play that works 99.9% of the time, no matter what defense you run. There's going to be random broken glitches. I remember I was over at a buddy's playing Madden 26 when it first came out, and the locker room showed up in the middle of the field. Like, these games just don't work. Yes.
I mean,
Jacob,
that's
a
lot of games to this day. And Adam knows what football game I'm talking about. They took a year off. They made a game, and to this day, the new game comes out in October, and there's still bugs in this one. So it does not matter what game you buy. There's always going to be fixes and bugs in it.
So
no matter what game you buy.
But there's difference between fixes and bugs and things that make it unplayable. A locker room showing up in the middle of the field is unplayable.
So then I want to ask you, because I asked this to Dan, but let me ask the group. So I want everyone's honest opinion. If I was EA Sports and I said, we're not going to make a game, but we're going to charge you, I don't know, $50, $45 a year. Okay, so Madden 27, we're going to put this game up, but going forward, we're going to charge you, I don't know, $50 every year. But with that update, the only thing you're going to get is roster updates and little improvements. But we're going to make a game every 5 to 10 years that actually works. Would you not at least be willing to pay the $50 every year to get the roster updates and then get a new game in 5 years that actually has a graphical improvement, big changes, big things that actually feel like when you buy a brand new game, you're going to be like, wow, this game's actually good.
I'm not spending $50 on roster updates. Screw that. Like, just make the game every 7 years. Don't charge me $50 for a damn roster update every year.
Don't forget, there's going to be
better than paying $100.
This game's coming out on PC this year, so you can bet that people are going to be modding it like it's going out of style. Another new feature this year is going to be stadium buildings. So how many people do you think are going to have? I'm not going to say they're going to look 100% realistic, but those people that go out and create CFL teams, rosters,
right.
Now you can make Mosaic Stadium in the game. Okay, you may not have CFL rules, but you have CFL teams, you have the stadiums. There's your franchise.
Right, exactly.
No, for sure. And actually, I will say this. I do want to jump on Lane's thing. I would pay $25 a year for a roster update.
I would pay
every 4 years, make 3 to 4 years, make a full-fledged game. And the reason being is I'm going to bring up Gran Turismo as the pure point. Dan, Gran Turismo, you bought at launch, correct?
I bought the VIP pack, $250.
And did it work right?
Oh, 100%.
That's what I mean. When was
There's
the last
one little hiccup, though. If you have a Fiat 500 a barf and put on a stage-free turbo, you can actually make the car flip because the brakes are so aggressive in the front. The car weighs so little in the back end. The car actually flips like this.
But Dan, is that a bug or is that realistic? Like, in all seriousness?
Well, I guess it's realistic
right?
because
my point is, and I agree, I've had this debate with so many friends in Lane. I love that you brought this up. And I understand maybe $50 thing's a little too much.
I like 50.
I would rather have it where maybe they release a game every 3 years and there's actual legitimate improvements. I don't fully blame EA Sports because I don't think a year is enough time to turn around a game. Look at Grand Theft Auto 6. Mind you, I think if there's major bugs in that, I think people are going to lose their mind because they've waited forever. And if it doesn't work, that's going to be a disaster. But GTA 4 and GTA 5 were the longest before GTA 6 were the longest in between in the franchise. And the games were incredible. GTA 4 is still one of my favorite games of all time. And the reason being is they took their time with it. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'm going to look like a total asshat and College Football 27 and Madden 27 are going to be legitimately really good. And by watching the trailer, which a lot of it I thought was a bunch of mumbo jumbo, I do feel the game looks better. Do I think it's good enough? And I personally agree with Rick. I will say this, and Rick, I know you weren't saying you do this necessarily, but if people are as fed up as me, don't buy it at launch. Send a message to EA Sports that we're not putting up with this, that we don't want the game to be not working and worse. And like if you bought College Football 26 at launch and you didn't play it for 6 months and then you updated it, there's been so many damn updates. The game plays 1,000 times different. It literally feels like a completely different game. But go ahead, Dan.
I just gotta say, add to that comment though, the reason why it will never work because there's a thing called peer pressure. Well, let's just make a peer pressure as young white girl high school kids, but it's not true. It happens to everyone. And prime example of this was our great grandma Jacob went into a nursing home. She was 99. And she didn't want to go out to dinner in the main hall of everyone else because she was afraid she had a walker. Well, finally she got out for the walker, and guess what? Everyone had a walker. So it's the same thing with this. Everyone will buy it at launch because everyone will have it, especially in America. Look at if you go to get-togethers on NFL Sundays, right? What do you do before the NFL games come on? You play Madden. Okay, it's like a part of America calls this. Because talk about Americana. Americana is one of my favorite words in dictionary. Madden is a part of Americana, and that's why all of these do well. But
unfortunately, Dan, you're 100% right.
What I just don't fully get though is I get the MVP pack, and that's fantastic. But I'm not worried about the MVP pack. I can just buy the 2 basic copies, and it's cheaper than the $200.
Yeah, but Dan, the reason why that's the case is because people who play all the online, they want all the stupid points because you gotta remember that. You're not and online, the way these matches work, if you don't spend money on microtransactions to make your team better, you're going to get your ass kicked every single game.
And that's the thing I was going to say too. Like as a viewer and as a player, yeah, we'll complain about paywalls and we'll complain about the game not being perfect and we'll complain about the pricing, blah, blah, blah. But you look at Electronic Arts as a company, as a marketing company, as a business, they're doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, like I said about Americana, Madden's NFL Sunday, now there ain't people paying $200 for this and God knows how much per month. They're laughing to the bank. Good for them.
No, I mean, yeah, give EA Sports credit. They found ways to
continue. And a Canadian's doing this in Vancouver.
I do want to state, though, if you're in the gaming industry, you need to watch out for what these AAA, these AA indie studios are doing. Because, for example, you have a game like Backyard Baseball that's coming back that's going to give people another option. Maximum Football is getting better and better every week with constant updates. You have Varsity Football coming up, which is going to be a full high school football video game. Like, you have all these things coming to the forefront. And I think for Madden and EA Sports, if you continue to put out a half-assed product and these indie games become more and more playable, people are going to have another option. I'm telling you one thing for all our CFL fans out there, as soon as Maximum Football gets Canadian rules, I don't know how many people are picking up the controller to play Madden anymore, at least on the CFL side of things. Once this varsity football works, maybe less people are buying college football because now they have a high school full experience, which apparently is going to have expansions into college later on. So, and that's by a Canadian company who originally made Maximum Football and Doug Flutie's Maximum Football, for anyone who remembers that, which I know that game wasn't very good, but I've seen videos of it and there's things that look really promising. So I'm going to wrap up our conversation on the state of EA football. if you are as frustrated as I am, there are other games coming, and I think you can be looking forward to the future of gaming as something else is coming besides of just these, where eventually you won't just need to. There's new indie hockey games out that actually look really sweet, that look like a lot of fun, that are maybe going to give EA a run for their money there. There's that new basketball game coming out that's basically going to be NBA Street. That's going to give 2K a run for their money with what they do with their online system. So if you're a gamer who's sick and tired of these big companies putting out a product that just is not even as good as a game from over 20 years ago, I think the future is coming. But before we wrap things, okay, Dan, go ahead.
Very quickly, gotta say good shout out to our viewers, because our CFL Sims game that Lane and I just did this past week did very well, of 126 views already.
We're going to do more of them, just for the fans who are wondering where the other two games were. Because of the roster cuts we had, because the roster cuts were a little late, we weren't able to get all the games done as we were at the Attack Cuts game. But now that the rosters are set, we know well, not going to be a lot of roster changes. We know the injury updates, so we're going to get those games up there and recorded for this week a lot faster. So we did miss 2 games, but going forward, me and Dan, or maybe me and Jacob, or me and Rick, whoever can torture to come on with me for the 90 minutes, we are going to make sure we get those games.
I'm sure Adam will come on too.
And I will say too, for sure, at least we'll at least.
I don't even know what game he's talking about. I'm so confused. I wasn't paying attention.
We'll at least get you guys one game a week.
For what?
For
I don't know what you're talking about.
For the Sims game,
Jacob, just before Lane goes,
I don't want to do that.
Before Lane goes into his baseball thing, I just want to mention something. To the Canada's under 18 basketball team, they just won the FIBA men's under 18 American Cup, and they beat the Americans. Beautiful. And the Americans won it the last 7 times. So Canada beat America in other sports.
That's huge.
But I know Lane has been very patiently waiting to share this baseball news.
Patiently waiting.
So what's going on, Lane, here with an MLB record?
Yeah, so this happened while we were recording on Sunday, June 7th. Jacob Mizorowski set his own MLB record. He actually broke his previous record, but in Sunday's game, Saturday, in Sunday in Colorado, the Milwaukee Brewers, the right-handed, set a velocity record for a starting pitcher since StatTrack has been active in 2008, where he threw a 103.7 mile fastball in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He actually beat his record, which was 103.6 miles per hour. So he actually broke his own record twice. And he actually owns, according to The Athletic in the New York Times, Mizorowski is responsible for 28 of the 30 pitches that have been thrown in the 103 plus mile per hour starting pitchers since 2008. So this guy continues to ramp up the pitches. He's getting the ball faster and faster. And Jacob Mizorowski does it again by breaking another record at 103.7 miles per hour as the new baseline for the fastest pitch.
Wait, when did he do this tonight, or did he do it yesterday? He didn't even start today.
So maybe it was Saturday. It said Sunday, sorry. So maybe the New York Times made a mistake, but
I don't know. I don't know if he played today, but I thought he was. He played Saturday.
Okay, my bad.
Saturday.
It does say Sunday in the Athletic article, so my bad. But
you know what? No, Lane, that's not your bad. That's the Athletic's bad. Send the pitchforks to the Athletic, not to the Analyst Desk.
But I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. That's pretty crazy.
And congrats to the Blue Jays too for winning today and beating the series in Baltimore 2-1. They're looking better. So
big series.
Congrats to them. A lot of good pitching today. Big bullpen game that got from the victory. So and that rookie catcher Brandon Venezuela. Holy cow! Another home run from him. He's looking fantastic.
Honestly, I know we don't want to make this show too much longer. Chicken's gonna kill me now. But what do you do if you're the Jays when Alejandro Kirk comes back? Because this Venezuela kid, I know he's not as experienced as Captain Kirk, but this guy's killing him, man. He said, What do you do?
You're trading Hyman to the Yankees.
No, you're sending Hyman in. You're sending Hyman in down to AAA because look, you don't know about Kirk's health even when he comes back. For all you know, he might be able to catch and not be able to hit, or he might be able to hit and he can't catch.
That's true.
Maybe he becomes your DH and George Springer takes a nap. I don't know. But the Jays definitely have a big decision to make there. But I mean, Kirk's not even back yet. He could still have a setback. I hope he doesn't, but you just don't know.
That's
so, but if it's me, Heinenen's going down to AAA, Venezuela staying up because you can use him as a pinch hitter. You can use him as a
He's
pinch runner.
great.
I really like
more,
him.
and I think he can learn a lot being under Big Kirko. That's
100%.
my perspective. But before we go, what I'm going to do here as we wrap up for our final thoughts, I'm going to ask each panelist a question, and they need to answer it in a 15-second time frame. So you're not going to take very long.
Yes or no?
Rick, I am going to
Yes.
start with you. Toronto Maple Leafs, young coach or experienced coach?
Veteran coach.
Veteran. Oh my gosh, Rick knows the
Golly
assignment.
me.
Adam, who's
I
winning
already
game
answered-
4
my God.
of the
I
NHL
don't care about
playoffs?
this.
Carolina or Vegas?
I don't know. Vegas. I know Carolina. I don't know.
You're saying Vega, Carolina. Adam
I
just
said
wants everyone to have
Carolina.
fun.
Jacob doesn't listen because he never does. Never listens to a
Lane-
word I say.
Dashing Dashco.
Oh,
Madden 27. Buy or pass?
buy it.
You're going to buy it.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna do
lastly-
simulations on the show.
Lastly, for me, and I will say this statement.
Do I
There's
get one?
going to be a major shakeup in the CFL power rankings moving into week 2. And I realized I forgot to ask Dan a question. So, Dan,
Heads or
I've
tails?
come up with one now. Okay, I got it. Dan,
Yes.
yes or no? Will Chad Kelly put himself back in the MOP conversation after week 2?
Yes.
There you have it, folks. Welcome to the Analyst Desk pre-records. This will be a weekly routine that we will be recording
Weekly?
on Sunday
That's
night,
not the song.
apparently into
Weekly?
Monday morning. Dan, quit your whining. Go get your wine makes you whine. So quit your whining. I want to thank everyone for joining us at the Analyst Desk, where every day feels like game day, for this 2.5-hour episode. Not bad. I thought it was going to be an hour and a half. We only went over by about an hour. That's pretty good for us. I want to thank Adam the Goat, Lane Dashing Dashco, Mr. More for your money, and of course, Rick from Hamilton Sports Central for joining us on this lovely evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time zone you're chilling in. And we'll be back. More live shows coming to a theater near you. Thank you very much for joining us at the Analyst Desk. Have a beautiful evening, whatever time it is, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Now I can
Bye-bye.
take my poo-poo. Bye.
Oh my gosh, Lade's face to that is perfect.
It's the Analyst Desk. Welcome to the show. It's the Analyst Desk. Yeah, in case you didn't know, it's the Analyst Desk. Welcome to the show where every day feels like game day, bro.